scored a touchdown against Bloomsburg. So Andy Lickney was with us today. Obviously, the Huskies are big favorites in this one, but an interesting game from the standpoint that the Huskies had that bye week to work on the passing game. There's not a lot to be fixed, but there is some. And I know we talked a little bit about this before the Lock Haven game. Statistically, Bloomsburg is second in the entire PSAC in total offense, 408 yards a game. That's terrific. But in scoring, they're 10th. So obviously, some things are not happening to get them in the end zone. They'd like to correct that starting today.
Yeah, they certainly would, and I think a lot will come with a bit more confidence in the passing game. I think we've seen some very patient coaching on the part of the Bloomsburg staff to bring the redshirt freshman Eric Miller along slowly. They have him do a lot of passing on first and second down, but they don't want to put him in the difficult position of converting long third down passes. I think that will come as the season progresses. Right now, we're looking at a midpoint type of game. A game where the Huskies can gain a lot of confidence against a defense that's not as highly ranked, a game where they should be able to get a nice distance in the score early, and be able to let this guy sort of get that good game time experience he's been practicing on the last 2 weeks. And that should set them up well if they can get the good confidence of a big scoring game, get the pass mixing in as effectively as the running game has been generating all season. And now they're going to take that first step in the conference with Cheyney and be ready for some of the stronger conference opponents down the line. It should all be able to come together. And normally you wouldn't want to see the early bye weeks like the Huskies have had, or you wouldn't want to see your easiest opponents, well, relatively easy. Lock Haven on paper was supposed to be an easier opponent, one of the easier teams in the West, and Cheyney this close. But I think for having the young quarterback, this is going to be a very nice progression and set them up very well, assuming everything goes according to the script today with Cheyney.
Danny Hale made some good points on the show. Eric Miller was not the #1 quarterback coming in. He was second or maybe even third, I say, coming into camp. So he didn't get a lot of reps early, and then by the time he had moved into that #1 spot, the season was ready to start at Wayne State. At that time, there were injuries to some receivers. Mike Dominic is still out. Randy Davidson just coming around. So that timing with the receivers has just not been there as the Huskies now making their way onto the near side of the field. Bloomsburg wearing their maroon jerseys with a maroon helmet, maroon pants, the gold numerals, and
And again, they're doing things to make him successful with the passing. Plus, he's a very effective runner. So sometimes when you get this bit of a surprise, the guy who takes the step up, who earns the spot that you're not quite expecting him to earn, you might get a little late start. You might revamp your package a little bit to fit the strengths of that particular individual. And I think he's going to be a very strong passer, and having an All-American out there like Ron Lelko and these other receivers who are coming back from injuries or gaining more experience, who are very youthful coming in, the timing will improve, and it's around this game where you want to see it all clicking so that you're at your peak rhythm, your peak performance for the Millersvilles, the East Stroudsburgs, the Westchesters, the strength of the conference. And it will be there. I'm confident.
Cheyney won the toss, elected to receive. The Wolves making their way onto the far side of the field. They have the white jerseys with the white helmets, blue numerals, blue pants, and trim. The officiating crew for today's game, the referee is Robert Nelson Jr. Ralph Dignio is the umpire. Edmund Murphy is the linesman. The line judge is Christopher Gorson. Joseph Armstrong is the field judge. Andrew Hapley is the back judge. Terry Gramling will operate the clock, and the 25-second clock will be operated by Frank Scarfo. A spectacular afternoon here at Redmond Stadium. Bright sunshine, pleasant temperatures, and a good crowd on hand, as is usually the case for Parents Weekend. Parents Day game from Cheyney about to take place. Huskies will be on the road next week for PSAC action at Mansfield. Today the task at hand is Cheyney. Bloomsburg had their way with the Wolves. As I mentioned, 7 consecutive victories over them. And Tommy Boop, the kicker for Bloomsburg, leads his kick team on.
Cheyney is a strong underdog in this game, not just a long losing streak, Jim, but when you look at PSAC ratings, offense versus defense, Bloomsburg has the #1 rushing offense, Cheyney the last rushing defense, number 14. And when you reverse it, Cheyney's offense is number 14 in overall total production. The Huskies' defense is #1. So when it's offense versus defense, in many cases it's the best going against the least. and it does pose for a mismatch here in a college game with the long 15-minute quarters. High school, sometimes any upsets can happen. There's short quarters and things occur. But here with the skill differences we see in these two teams, the Huskies are hoping for a strong confidence builder in this game.
Andre Baltimore and Dondre Gilliam are deep for the Wolves of Cheyney. They'll move from our right to our left as we view things here in the first half that is underway with the kick by Tom Boop. The kick is very, very high, and Baltimore in his 2-yard line to the 5, to the far side of the field, to the 10, to the 15, over the 20, and down at the 25-yard line. So Andre Baltimore with the return of 23 yards to the 25-yard line, and Jay Zaransky down to make the play on the kick team for the Huskies. Terrific kick by Boop. That's the kind of kick you want from your special teams. Very high, very deep.
Very deep and high, and yet it doesn't go into the end zone, so you have the chance of pinning them down if you have better coverage. If the first man was able to make the tackle, he might have been knocked down about the 17-yard line, but Baltimore elusive, gets wide, and gets up to about the 25.
First and 10 for the Wolves at their 25-yard line. Gilliam lined up on a wing to the right, comes in motion, and the pitch goes to him. It's behind him. The ball is loose, and Bloomsburg's on the football. Jay Zaransky has come up with the ball at the 18-yard line. Gilliam was lined up on a wing to the right, came in motion. The pitch a little behind him. Ball hit the turf, and Zaransky on the recovery. So Bloomsburg with the early break. First and 10 Huskies at the Cheyney 18.
It was a strange misdirection, a slanting move inside. I thought the fullback had the ball, but then he comes down with option to pitch a little bit behind the man, but he should have been able to get it. He could absorb the loss, but not the loss of the football.
Ron Loco wide to the right side. I formation behind Eric Miller. John Johnson ahead of Sigler in the eye. Irv Sigler gets the call, has running off the middle, inside the 15, inside the 10, and down to the 8-yard line. Irv Sigler on the run. Taylor Harris, the strong safety, comes up and makes the play. Harris and Shea Eubanks are the safeties. Glenn Irby and James Long are at the corners. DeMar Galmer, Pierre Campbell, and Frank McDermott are the linebackers. McDermott is a good one. He's the middle linebacker. As Bloomsburg down at the 9-yard line with a second down and 1. Sigler gets the call again inside the 5, inside the 3, and breaks the tackle into the end zone for the touchdown. Irv Sigler in from the 9-yard line for the score, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
Great blocking at the point of attack, right over left guard Tim Bear, the All-American. There's some nice crossing action in there, which split the front of the defense. And then Shea Eubank came up around the 4-yard line and seemed to have a clean shot on him. But he went swivel hip, straight-armed him, shook away from that free safety, and takes it in for the goal.
Now Tom Boop will attempt the extra point out of the hold of Ron Loco. Adam Wright does the long snapping. The snap is there. The placement. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Time out on the field. 14:09 to go in the first quarter of play with the score. Bloomsburg 7 and Cheyney nothing. We'll be back in 30 seconds. For Bloomsburg University on Cheyney's first play from scrimmage, a fumble recovered by Jay Zaransky. 2 plays later, All-American Irv Sigler in from the 9-yard line for the touchdown. Tom Boop with the extra point, 7-0 Huskies. And now Boop set to kick off once again as Dondre Gilliam and Andre Baltimore awaiting the kick.
Turnovers have been a problem for Cheyney all year. Their turnover margin is minus 1.8.
Boop's kick is very, very high. This one shorter than the previous kick. Baltimore at the 6-yard line. To the 10, to the 15. This time good coverage by the Huskies. He comes up short of the 18-yard line. As brought down by Chris McNutt. Down there for the Huskies.
Nice high kick, as you mentioned, Jim. Went up there very, very high, and it gives the people time to get down. He was trying to get a wall, trying to go to the far sideline. He ended up running laterally rather than north and south. Huskies staying in their lane, able to force him into the tackle short of the 20-yard line.
First and 10. They mark it closer to the 19-yard line where the Wolves have it. They fumbled on their first play from scrimmage in the ball game. Baltimore is the lone running back behind Apollo Wright, who steps back to throw, looking, fires over the middle. The ball is caught by West, the tight end at the 40-yard line. First and 10, Cheyney. Dorian West, 6'6", 240-pound junior with the grab. Ben Hennikel wraps him up. But it's a 21-yard pickup and a first down for the Wolves.
A real nice passing play. The Huskies might have been anticipating that it was going to be a run. I believe we have a flag on the play, and this may come back.
Penalty penalty will go against the Wolves of Cheyney. So their first play of a spectacular nature, a pass to the tight end for the first down, will come back.
The signal is for a ball illegally kicked, batted, or touched. No way I can see that.
As you went to look down on that sheet, they give another signal, but I can't. Here it comes again.
Ball illegally kicked, batted, or touched. They gave it again. I don't see how that can be. Straight snap from center and then went downfield. But anyway, there is an infraction that will decline a beautiful passing play. Cheyney delivering very well to the tight end.
It'll be 2nd and 16 back at the 14-yard line. I formation now. As right on a long count is back to throw again. Big pass rush, rolls right, steps up into it, throws long again for Dorian West. This one is overthrown. Pretty good coverage downfield by Jay Zaransky. Zaransky, along with Ben Hennikel, the Husky safeties, Michael Roberts and John Zelos at the corners, Jay Brook, Chris Acup, and John Imp are the linebackers. Imp in the middle. Tony Brown has taken over for Alec Wiley. An unfortunate injury, knee injury to Wiley in that game 2 weeks ago against Lock Haven, has him out for the remainder of the season. So Tony Brown, a 6'1", 269-pound sophomore from Reading, takes his place. Brown, Gary Fittery, Chris Luft, and Justin Vent, the front four for the Huskies, as Cheyney faces 3rd down and 16 at the 14-yard line. The give is to Murray up the middle. He breaks into the secondary of the 25 over the 30 out near the 35-yard line. As Jay Zaransky makes the stop, but Lamar Murray gets a burst up the middle and picks up a Cheyney first down, 20 yards on the carry.
3rd and very long. Seems like it's an obvious passing play, but in the last game, quarterback Apollo Wright forced 5 interceptions. So perhaps Cheyney, playing it conservatively, decides to just bust the middle with the running back. Huskies anticipating pass, do not have people in that area. So a fine burst to move the chains.
Terrell Johnson is wide to the right side. Jason Andrews wide left. 1st and 10, Wolves at their own 34. I formation. And flags and whistles before the play got started.
Stacy Lane, the big left tackle, moved his hand. He didn't actually shoot out aggressively, just lifted his hand up and then watched the play. So a sloppy penalty on the part of Cheyney. And difficult enough, their offensive skill people aren't that strong. They have very little rushing. They only average 43 yards a game rushing. And then the passing is prone to be intercepted. So when you handicap yourself with a 5-yard penalty on 1st and 10 after a nice successful 20-yard burst, you really hurt yourself.
1st down and 15 for the Wolves at their 29-yard line. The give is the tailback Gilliam. He tries to bounce it outside. He's going to lose yardage. Terrific play by Ben Hennikel, coming up from the safety position and coming hard for the Huskies. As Gilliam tried to string it outside, that Hennikel would have none out of it. And they'll move the ball back to the 27-yard line, a loss of 2, 2nd down and 17 for Cheyney.
Dondre Gilliam, touted as a very talented freshman out of Aberdeen, Maryland, only averages 2.8 yards a carry. In this game on 2 carries is at -5. Huskies playing him tough. Justin Vent played that very well from defensive end as well. Force the tailback to bubble back.
Craig Huber in the ball game, wide to the right side. The give is to Murray up the middle. Again, he finds running room and hits hard over the 35 out to the 37-yard line. Strong run by Murray. Jay Zaransky and John Imp, safety and middle linebacker, respectively, combine on the stop, but a 10-yard pickup for Lamar Murray. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7 for Cheyney at their own 37.
That's a nice action. Lamar Murray was the starting tailback last year. He was the leading rusher for the team, but he sort of deferred to Dondre Gilliam's talent and slid over to play a fullback. Rather small for fullback, only 190 pounds.
He's the fullback again in the eye on this 3rd down and 7. Right back to throw, firing far to the long sideline, and it's incomplete. There is a flag down right in the area where Michael Roberts was step for step with Craig Huber, the intended receiver.
While the ball's in the air, there can't be any type of contact. You can play a bump and run, but once the ball's in the air, you can't. Quarterback just took a very short drop and heaved it very close from the line of scrimmage. You're going to call it an uncatchable pass, though. So they saw the contact and threw it, but then felt that this was too far out of bounds to be caught. That'll waive that pass interference away, set up a 4th and long.
So, punting situation for Cheyney. Michael Roberts and Steve Eichert back for the Huskies.
Funny, not a strength of this team either. Posey only averages 26 yards a punt. People coming on very late.
Lawrence Posey, a freshman out of Camden, New Jersey, does the punting. Luis Gutierrez is the long snapper for the Wolves. Snap is high. Posey goes back, gets it, and does get the kick away. And angles it for Eichert, who backs up at his own 28-yard line. Gets a block from Michael Roberts, tries to cut it outside, but is brought down in his tracks. Good tackle in the open field by Jason Andrew. And Bloomsburg will take over the football, 1st and 10, near their own 30-yard line with 11:56 to go in this first quarter, and the Huskies leading it by a score of 7-0.
First touchdown came on a very short drive after an initial fumble by Cheyney. Now more standard offense, we'll see. Eric Miller in there to lead the troops at quarterback.
Stigler, the tailback in the I formation behind John Johnson. And flags and whistles before that one could get started.
Snaps seem to come a little bit late. Huskies seems everyone moved up the center. We'll have to see exactly which way it goes.
It is a legal procedure against Bloomsburg, so the Huskies will start with a 1st and 15 situation.
Huskies have been rather high in penalties this year, almost 60 yards a game in penalties, which is certainly not a good average. And there again, on a 1st and 10, where you should be in control, you want that good play, you have to change your strategy immediately with a 1st and 15.
Mike Loco wide to the right, Brother Ron wide left to give it to John Johnson, breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage, hit hard at the 30-yard line, bounces to the 32-yard line. Strong run by the fullback, Pierre Campbell, makes the stop from his linebacker position for the Wolves. 235-pound junior from Far Rockaway, New York, second leading tackler last season and second leading tackler on this season so far. But a strong effort by Johnson. A pickup of 7 to the 32, 2nd down and 8.
John Johnson hasn't been as visible, but the coaching staff is just thrilled with his blocking. They feel he's blocking stronger than Saheed Brooks was blocking at this pace.
2nd down and 8, Bloomsburg at the 32. They give it to Sigler with Johnson out in front. Sigler over the 40 and just tripped up at the 42-yard line. Gets the 1st down and was a step away from a long one. Taylor Harris, the strong safety, made the stop for Cheyney. And an injury timeout, one of the Wolves down on the field.
Cheyney really can't suffer too many injuries. They're a bit depleted coming into this game as it is. Both defensive ends were hurt during practice this week. Keith Jackson is out with an ankle injury. Chris Doherty out with a hand injury. And this is a defense that is last in many departments defensively. We see another player being helped off now.
Taylor Harris, who made the shoestring tackle on Irv Sigler, comes out with the injury. Wolves front 4, Andy mentioned the problems with the injuries. The front 4 is Hakeem Stovall, Taekwondo Gilliam, Caladane O'Connor, a 310-pound freshman, and Darren Daniels.
Get some people moved up because of the injuries. Caladane O'Connor, huge in there, but only a freshman.
Tony Dandridge is in there now, replacing the injured Harris. Play action. Miller backs to throw, looking long down this near sideline for Mike Loco. He makes the grab, but he's out of bounds. Good coverage by Cheyney that time, and Mike Loco was good 2 or 3 yards out of bounds when he caught the ball. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Huskies at their own 43-yard line.
Yeah, the coverage was very strong. Glenn Irby stayed with him and just would not give him the field. Lelko had to force himself inside the sideline. In fact, there was contact, but you can say that it was Lelko trying to keep himself in bounds, initiating the contact. Nice coverage.
2nd and 10, Bloomsburg at their own 43-yard line. Ron Loco wide to the left side, I formation. Miller on a long count, takes the snap, and he's back to throw, and he's looking long to the far side to Ron Loco. The pass hangs up, but Loco appeared to be mugged by Dandridge, but there is no flag on the play.
Well, Mike Loco going down the opposite sideline saw the ball was somewhat underthrown. The defender was not watching the ball, but watching the man who seemed to have a step or two on him. But as the pass is coming up short, Loco tries to put on the brakes and comes back. The field judge is right there with him stride for stride. He was right on the play, so he could see very well if there was contact. It might have just been that in trying to stop so abruptly, the feet left him, and it looked like there was a hit.
3rd down and 10. Bloomsburg at their own 43. As Miller takes the snap, back to throw again, looking long, and it's way over the head of Ron Loco, who has the stripe with the official on this one. So the Huskies Huskies trying to air it out to give Miller's chances to hit some long ones, but they do not connect, and it'll be 4th and 10. Normally on that third down play, we would have seen Brett Kozlowski in there, but we see Kozlowski down on the sideline on crutches and in civvies. We were not given any information about an injury to him. So we'll have to check on that and see if we can get some information for you. Joe Costello is the punter for the Huskies, takes the snap and gets the kick away. And the kick comes up short, but takes a good bounce and rolls inside the 15 and rolls dead at the 11. So it turns out to be a very effective punt by the freshman from Mount Carmel. And Cheyney will take over with a 1st and 10 at their own 11 with 10 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the first quarter, and Bloomsburg leading by a score of 7-0.
Bit of a strange offensive series for the Huskies. Some successful runs to move the chains, but then after the injury stoppage, 3 bombs going to the Lelko brothers down the sidelines. Whether they felt they could beat those people or whether they just feel that Cheyney is cheating up everybody to stop the run and stop Ziegler, that they need to distance this and show that they're willing to go deep.
Cheyney with the football, 1st and 10 at their own 11. Dondre Gilliam is the tailback in the eye. He tries the right side and gets nowhere. Gary Fittery with the defensive play, as the loss will be at the 10-yard line. Be 2nd down and 11.
Really knifed on in through, found the man in the backfield who was trying to get wide, but before he can get anything moving, he pierces in, slides down, and takes the feet from out of the man.
2nd down and 11. Cheyney back at their own 10-yard line. Fittery, all-conference pick from a year ago, playing very well for the Huskies this season. Makes that last play. Bloomsburg showing blitz. They don't come. Cheyney gives the ball to Gilliam again from that tailback spot. This time a little bit of room as he pounds out to about the 15-yard line. John Imps makes the stop from his middle linebacker position. Imps, the #1 tackler on this team coming in, 6 foot, 239-pound junior out of Troy High School. So Cheyney will face a 3rd down and 6 from their own 15-yard line.
Passing situation, but they crossed up the Huskies by going with a run in a passing situation last time from about this position. Fullback Lamar Murray knifing up the middle, burst for 20 yards. The Huskies a bit more aware of the run this time. They'll look for it.
Terrell Johnson is wide to the near side of the field. He's the leading receiver. John Zelos on him as right back to throw. Gets away from one would-be sack man. Gets the pass away. Juggling catch by Johnson. And he's finally gang tackled at around the 35-yard line. Jay Zaransky among the people in there. Huskies almost had a sack. Justin Vent appeared to be closing in on right, who kind of ducked in under the sack attempt. Got the pass off to Johnson, who juggled it momentarily and then pulled it in for a 20-yard pickup and a 1st down.
And the passing game with the scramble becomes effective because there's just more time for the receivers. They break off the standard routes and continue. Terrell Johnson at 6'1" is the leading receiver on this team with 219 yards already this year. Very dangerous, very experienced.
1st and 10 for Cheyney. They have the football at their own 36-yard line, and movement on the right side of that offensive front. They'll have a 5-yard walk-off against the Wolves, and that will send Lee Strawbridge into the Bloomsburg lineup. Michael Roberts will come out at the corner position. So 5-yard walk-off back to the 31, 1st and 15 for the Wolves of Cheyney.
One weapon we might see again is that big tight end, 6'6" Dorian West. They hit him on about a 20-25-yard pass early in the game, but it was negated by a penalty. He was also in the previous pass route, but when the protection broke down, they couldn't throw to him.
1st and 15 call coming. Right back to throw. Big pass rush. He's trying to get away. Ball is considered an incompletion as Tony Brown had him wrapped up. And the arm coming forward. Ball hits the turf. The ruling by the officials is an incompletion. Well, the Huskies will be glad to see that out of Tony Brown. He's filling some big shoes. Alec Wiley was playing very, very well at that defensive end position before being hurt early in the Lock Haven game 2 weeks ago. He's out for the season, and there will be a lot on the shoulders of Tony Brown. He looked good there.
He really did. He forced a pass where there wasn't even a receiver. In fact, I think the man closest was Louis Gutierrez, who tips the scales, they say, at 325, but looks much bigger than that.
2nd and 15 for Cheyney, back at their own 31-yard line. Murray and Gilliam, after a shift, line up in the I formation. There's a slot to this, the near side of the field. They give straight ahead to Murray Gilliam for a couple. There is a flag down on the play, motion call against the Wolves.
They never got the backfield set. Whether he called the wrong formation in the huddles, the backs were confused, or never picked up an audible. They went from split backs, moved the one back over to fullback, then moved the other one back to tailback, and they probably weren't set the full second or couldn't hold the stance. Huskies have a decision here to make. I don't know for sure if it was blown dead or if they have the option on this penalty. The illegal shift, and it will be declined. So they will take that yard or two of the gain, since they'll set the 3rd and long anyway.
3rd down and 15 for Cheyney. Lee Strawbridge, I mentioned, in there. Michael Roberts back in there as well. So the Huskies with an extra defensive back in on this 3rd down call.
Again, watch for that tight end, Dorian West. On the previous play that was almost thrown away, that Tony Brown stopped so well, they were trying to go to him, but the pump, because of the coverage, they couldn't throw it.
Slot to the right side, I formation. Apollo Wright, the senior quarterback, calling signals from the 32-yard line, takes the snap, back to throw, has some time, fires over the middle, has his man, a completion. That's Jason Andrew over midfield to the Bloomsburg 48-yard line. As Jay Brook makes the stop, but Apollo Wright stood in there, fired the strike to Jason Andrews, a sophomore from Dobbins Tech. Wright took a hit as he got it off, getting up very, very slowly. But a big gain for Cheyney and a 1st down in Bloomsburg territory.
An official's timeout to make sure that quarterback is okay. He did take a hit, but he held that position very well. He saw his man break. He was able to split it. The man was in a crowd, linebackers, safeties in the area, ready to break toward the ball. But he put a little zip on it, got it to that receiver, Andrews, and made a beautiful pass completion.
21 yards on the completion. And now we'll have a substitute at quarterback with Wright being shaken up. Amir Hayes, a sophomore out of Brooklyn, New York, who actually has more pass attempts on the season than does Apollo Wright. He sets his team down at the Bloomsburg 47-yard line. And he's going to option it to the left side. Pitches it to Gilliam. Makes a nice move. Trying to get outside and gets to about the 43-yard line. So picks up about 4 in the play before Michael Roberts can make the stop from his cornerback position.
They wanted to go with option on the first play of the game, but it ended up being a fumble. Quarterback Apollo Wright struggling with the left-handed pitch. But now when you have the quarterback change with Amir Hayes, we see he's able to go with that left-handed pitch. So strategically, something in the game plan where they feel they can exploit the Huskies' defense. One quarterback really can't execute properly, but with the quarterback change, they come back to it. Hayes is a talented quarterback, has more passing yards as well than Apollo Wright, 330 passing yards to his credit this year.
2nd and 6 for Cheyney. They have the ball at the Bloomsburg 43-yard line. Gilliam behind Murray in the I formation. Fake to Gilliam. Hayes rolling left, fires a pass into traffic, incomplete. As West and Huber were both right in that same area, really got clogged there. Justin Bent with good heat on the quarterback. And Ben Hennikel, John Zalos, Jay Zaransky all around the receivers. Now Apollo Wright will come back on for Cheyney at the quarterback spot as they face a 3rd down and 6 at the Bloomsburg 43.
Amir Hayes looked very good on the 2 plays that we saw him. Only a sophomore, deferring to the senior Apollo Wright here in this situation. But good quick feet, able to avoid the rush, showed nice rollout action, and executed well with the option play.
Terrell Johnson wide to the right side. McCray lined up wide left, but now goes in motion to the right. And Wright is back to throw. He's in trouble. He's going to be hit. He fumbles the football. Looks like Tony Brown may have it for the Huskies. No indication from the officials just yet, and looks like Cheyney did get on the football.
I don't know if they got on it. They might have ruled him as down, Jim. I think he was going down. The knee may have hit. People are changing, but is it a punt change or is it Husky offense? They're going to rule the fumble.
And we're still waiting for the official to tell us about it.
You're not going to get that call.
It appeared that Tony Brown had the football, but the official has yet to make a signal that it is Bloomsburg's football. But it is indeed, as the Huskies come up to the 45-yard line. So we'll give Brown the fumble recovery. Sigler is the tailback in the I formation. And the give is to Irv Sigler. Breaks one tackle with line of scrimmage, cuts it to the outside of the Cheyney 45, puts a move on, and is ridden out of bounds. And around the 41-yard line, a flag flies down over there. Now, Sigler had the straight arm out I wonder if we might get a face mask against the offense, one of those rare calls. James Long made the stop for the Wolves.
It is a rarity, but it has been called on occasion. People don't use the straight arm that much anymore. You put that arm out and push the man away. Face masking against the offense. It becomes a bit of a blow, though, against the defense. Change their mind.
I didn't think that Long got close enough to get the face mask for Sigler, but it's a 14-yard run to the 41-yard line, and then just the incidental contact on the face mask takes it to the 36-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 for the Huskies at the Wolves 36. High formation. Ron Loco is wide to the right side. Miller on a long count. Has Kerry O'Brien as the tight end to the right. Sigler gets the call, cuts it up into the middle. Great move. Still spinning away from people. Again at the 20, and Sigler finally dragged down at the 20-yard line. As Halliday and Connor finally made the stop, but just some terrific moves by Herb Sigler.
His linemen say he's an artist, Jim. We have a great halftime interview coming up where they describe his talent. They just love the way he runs. He should have been stopped after about an 8-yard gain, but refused to go down, spun away, and broke 2 more tackles. Now with 56 yards on 5 carries.
15 yards on that carry. Sigler will get it again off the right side, inside the 15, inside the 10, turns the corner at the 5, and goes in for another touchdown. Herb Sigler, his second score of the ball game, this one from 21 yards out.
Oh, and the crowd appreciating it. Not so much that he had to work. He had great blocking, but just appreciating all that he has done throughout the year and the tremendous talent that he's displaying here. Great run off the right side, but cuts it against the grain. Cheyney out of position. People are fronting their men, giving him the lane to run. One more man to beat, and he has a convoy leading him in there. He's able to coast it in for that score. 77 yards now here in the first quarter for Sigler.
Sigler was the show on that drive, and now Tom Boop will attempt the extra point. Out of the hold of Ron Loco. Adam Wright with the snap. It's low, and Sigler, Loco tries to get it, and he's piled on by the Wolves of Cheyney, so the extra point attempt fails. Time out of the field, 5 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the first quarter of play with the score. Bloomsburg 13 and Cheyney nothing. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Here at Redmond Stadium, 13-0 is the count. Bloomsburg. That last drive, 3 plays, 55 yards, all plays, running plays to Herb Sigler. 14-yard run, 15-yard run, 21-yard touchdown run. There's also a 5-yard penalty against Cheyney. So Sigler spectacular on the drive. 13-0 Bloomsburg as Tom Boop will kick off. And the kick is very, very high. And Andre Baltimore at the 7-yard line. Takes it to the far side, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, and wrapped up by Fran Greger as he got over the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Greger is a freshman linebacker out of Downingtown that they're very high on. In fact, the Huskies really had a terrific recruiting season. And among those recruits, some very, very strong linebackers. And Greger, one of them. The return was to the 28-yard line. So that's where Cheyney will put it in play. 1st and 10. With 5:39 to go in this first quarter. And Bloomsburg leading by a score of 13-0. Jason Andrews is wide to the left side. Terrell Johnson wide to the right. Both of them had pass receptions in the last Cheyney possession. As Gilliam, the tailback, gets the call, goes outside left, and is forced out of bounds around the 33-yard line by Chet Hennicle. Rather, check that, John Imp, the middle linebacker for the Huskies. So Gilliam shows some good speed to the outside, and they mark it the 33, so 5 yards, 2nd down and 5.
And he did without his left tackle. Stacy Lane again broke the stance, but not enough to catch the eye of the official, but then he just didn't contribute on the play. So without the tackle on the side that you're running the sweep to doing much for you, he showed fine speed to make a nice positive gain.
Gilliam again, the tailback in the I formation. The call goes to the fullback, Murray, and he is going nowhere. As he is wrapped up by Gary Fittery. Fittery, the senior, one of the tri-captains for the Huskies, 6'1", 266-pounder out of that fine high school program at Mannheim Central. Brings Murray down for a loss back to the 32-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
And Fittery is the 3rd leading tackler on the team, and normally for leading tacklers you expect to see linebackers or strong safeties. For a defensive tackle to have that many hits and plays, it shows how aggressive he is. Controls the middle of that line.
3rd down and 6 for Cheyney, and the Wolves will burn a timeout. 4:49 remaining first quarter, 13-0 Huskies. We'll be back in 30 seconds. A reminder, at halftime, Dave will bring us update on all the college football scores, and immediately following our broadcast from Redmond Stadium this afternoon, Dave will be by as host of the Scoreboard Show. All the latest results from college football on this Saturday afternoon. Back to action here. Cheyney with the football. Bloomsburg leading 13-0. 3rd down and 6 for the Wolves in their own territory. Right the inside screen to Murray. Has some running room at the 40, the 45 to midfield, and to the Bloomsburg 47-yard line. Murray and Jay Zaransky with a real collision around midfield. Murray got the best of it as he bounced away for a couple more yards. Got to the 47-yard line. So Cheyney, following the timeout, comes up with a good play. The screen in the middle of the field to the fullback, Lamar Murray.
What they did, though, is they telegraphed the screen to the right sideline. They ran a man in the flat. They made it look quarterback looked away. So the Huskies read the initial fake, thought it was going to be a screen, but thought to the Cheyney sideline. Then they zip it down the middle, and Lamar Murray's been controlling that middle well with his running.
1st and 10. The pitch is to Gilliam. Tries the right side. Gets by one tackler, and then is brought down around the 44-yard line. Dondre Gilliam brought down by Tony Brown from his defensive end position for the Huskies. So the freshman Gilliam picks up a couple on the 1st down play. Call it 2nd down and 7 near the Bloomsburg 44.
He opened the game poorly. He had to take an option pitch, and it was a little bit behind him and ended up being fumbled. So he started out with the negative that the Huskies played him very tough. He's up to 10 positive yards now on his 8 carries.
2nd down and 7 for the Wolves. Inside the Bloomsburg 45-yard line. Here comes Andrews on the end around, takes the handoff, and a lose yardage back to midfield. Read beautifully by Justin Vent as they brought Andrews on the end around, but Vent right there makes the stop at midfield for a loss of 6, brings up a 3rd and 13.
Vent really played it well. The plays going away from him in a defensive end and outside linebacker are told to respect the reverse and watch for counters. He stayed deep. They thought the superior speed would be able to get around the defensive end, but Vent played it well, kept going back, forcing him even deeper, pulled Andrews down. Great defensive play. 3rd
and 13 for the Wolves. From midfield, Apollo Wright is back to throw. Has time. Pump fake now. Fires over the middle. Has Huber at the 35 of Bloomsburg. And Greg Huber down to the 32-yard line. Cheyney comes up with a big 3rd down play to keep this drive alive. Ben Hennicle in the stop for the Huskies.
Very, very nice play. Quarterback is poised. He's been pressuring the pocket throughout the game. He's been forced to scramble, but he stays back there. He looks relaxed. He pumps the one receiver who's covered. He looks again, then finds Huber down the middle for a very nice gain. Moves to Cheyney. This is an impressive drive. 18 yards on the completion. 1st and 10 for Cheyney at the Bloomsburg 32-yard line. Clock running, 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Wolves trying to get back in the football game. Gilliam gets the handoff, and he gets rocked for a loss on the play as Justin Vent played well in this first quarter. 6'2", 240-pound sophomore from Bedford brings down Gilliam for a loss of 3 to the 35-yard line. 2nd down and 13. John Devlin does not keep a defense in stasis. He has people move around. So even Justin Vent is as a down defensive end. That time he's slanting hard to the inside, messes up blocking schemes, and he hits the man over the guard, pounds him.
Andrews wide right. Terrell Johnson wide left. They give on the draws to Murray. He's got some running room inside the 30, inside the 25, to the 20, breaks one tackle and another, and still on his feet down near the 13-yard line. Lamar Murray with a terrific effort. John Zalos finally brings him down. But Cheyney on the march. This drive started at their own 28-yard line. Right now it's at the Bloomsburg 14-yard line. After that, 21-yard run.
Some plays go nowhere for negative yards, and then all of a sudden the explosion occurs. conversion. Credit Lamar Murray for a series of them. Successful on a 20-yard screen pass on a big conversion play. Now a big play here, down the middle again.
At the Bloomsburg 14-yard line, 1st and 10. McCray goes in motion to the right side. Wright takes the snap, back to throw, fires a bullet pass. Johnson has it, and Johnson carries a couple of tacklers to the 4-yard line of Bloomsburg. There is a flag down on the play.
Thrown on the far side, probably by the line judge, so something right there in the initial movement we'll have to see.
We have just 1 minute and 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Bloomsburg leading by a score of 13-0. A couple of Irv Sigler touchdown runs, one of 9, one of 21 yards. Illegal procedure against the Wolves negates a terrific play as Johnson caught the pass and got down to the 4-yard line. Would have been very close to a 1st and goal situation for the Wolves. Instead, it'll bring back to the 19-yard line, and it'll bring up 1st and 15.
Passing game's been very sharp and in big chunks. Johnson had a 20-yarder, Andrews a 21-yarder, Huber an 18-yarder, Dorian West, the tight end, caught a 21-yarder, and that inside screen for 20 yards to Lamar Murray. So almost 100-yard in passing already. And the Huskies are showing nice defense with some scrambling by the quarterback and then some nice routes by the receivers to break open.
Slot to the right side. West the tight end on the left. I formation. Bloomsburg coming on a blitz. Right back there. Hit as he gets it off. And a diving attempt in the end zone. It's a touchdown. Bobby McCray grabs it for a Cheyney score.
Oh, the defender was right with him. Jim Wright with him, but turned around and the ball's thrown low. He has to go low, slide on the ground, scoop it up like an outfielder diving, but he's able to get his arms under it before it hits the turf and pull it into him for a great score for Cheyney. Again, the pass striking, this time for the touchdown.
And a big part of that play is Apollo Wright, who is just now getting to his feet. He stood in against a ferocious rush from Gary Bitter. He took a terrific hit, but got it off. McCray makes the diving catch in the end zone, and Cheyney is on the board.
It was a beautiful play. The quarterback has shown poise throughout. He's been able to sidestep defenders, buy himself some time. But he also stands tall in the pocket. He'll wait till the last second to throw to when that receiver will open, even at his own risk, when he's going to take the shot. There he took one for the team, and it paid off.
Cheyney's had their problems in the kicking departments. They will go for 2 after that touchdown pass to McCray, who goes in motion to the right side. Amir Hayes is in at the quarterback spot. He takes the snap. He fires a pass, completes it to McCray, but this will not count. There was movement on the left side for Cheyney. Wide receiver left early.
Play was successful, though, so they executed it well, but as you mentioned, it will come back. Moving it back the 5 yards now, you might go with the kicker, but I'm surprised they didn't kick it the previous time. I don't see the necessity for the 2-point conversion unless you just don't have a lot of faith in your PAT kicker. And I don't see the type of personnel changes to indicate they would kick this. So we're probably going to see a 2-point conversion attempt from back deeper.
And actually, if you're going to throw the football, it's not all that bad to have it back a little. Of course, they'd love to have the 2-point conversion that Hayes threw to McCray, which was successful, but they'll have to try it again after the penalty.
Andre Baltimore in at fullback, Jim.
They'll try for the 2-point conversion as Hayes going to option to the right side, pitches the ball to Gilliam, and he will not get there. Good work by Michael Roberts of the Huskies. So the extra point attempt fails. Time out of the field, 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter play with the score. Bloomsburg 13 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Here at Redmond Stadium, 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. Cheyney has just capped a 9-play, 72-yard scoring drive on a 19-yard touchdown pass from Apollo Wright to Bobby McCray. 13-6 is the Bloomsburg lead, as Lamar Murray will kick off. Steve Eichert deep for the Huskies. The kick will come to Eddie Crothers on the far side of the field, the 24-yard line to the 30, and Crothers is stood up and gang tackled around the 39-yard line. The kick comes up short, pretty good return. Berlin Theodore on the tackle for the Wolves. And Bloomsburg will get the football in the closing moments of this first quarter. Husky lead is 13-6.
Saw Crothers speaking with Irv Sigler on the sideline in the previous series. Ziegler is showing him that straight arm move, and there as he's making contact, the left arm came out strong as the potential tackler.
Ziegler was the whole show last time the Huskies had it. He is the tailback in the I formation, gets the call again off the left side over the 45, cuts it the outside, skirts one tackler, gets to the 45-yard line, picks up 6 on the play. Tony Dandridge makes the stop for the Wolves, but every carry by Irv Ziegler looks like it's going to go all the way.
He just has that potential. Just great vision, able to see a man and then see right past the man, assuming with confidence he'll be able to lose him, sidestep him in some manner. 83 yards now on the game for Ziegler on 7 carries.
And that is the final play of the first quarter play with the score. Bloomsburg 13 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Is the Bloomsburg advantage. Huskies have been moving from our right to our left as we view things in the second quarter. Second down and 3, Bloomsburg at their own 46. Johnson ahead of Ziegler in the I formation. Ron Locos wide to the right side. Ziegler gets the call. Johnson out in front, inside the Cheyney 45, the 40, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, and Ziegler goes the distance. Irv Ziegler with John Johnson out in front goes 54 yards on the first play of the second quarter.
137 yards and counting. First play of the second quarter, as you mentioned. He's been averaging 221 yards a game, number 1 rusher in all of Division II, and he certainly shows why there. Great blocking right at the point of attack. He has a quick 7 yards, sidesteps the safety, and then it's off to the races. Tremendous run by Ziegler.
Longest run of the season for Irv Ziegler, 54 yards. Now Tom Booth will attempt the extra point out of the hold of Ron Loco. Snap is a good one. The placement is there. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. No good off to the right. Time out of the field, 14:49 to go in the first half of play with the score. Bloomsburg 19 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Redmond Stadium, a spectacular 54-yard run by Irv Ziegler for his 3rd touchdown of the afternoon, his 8th of the season. And Bloomsburg now leads by a score of 19-6 over the Wolves of Cheyney. Tom Boop will kick off, and Andre Baltimore and Dondre Gilliam deep for the Wolves of Cheyney. Boop has been kicking very, very high and deep, and this one is way, way deep. 9 yards deep in the end zone. This is what Bloomsburg finds frustrating about Tom Boop, because they know he has a tremendous talent with that foot. He just missed an extra point, and then he booms one 9 yards deep in the end zone. And normally it's very, very windy up here at Redmond Stadium, but there's not that much of a breeze that would give you that long a kick.
No, sometimes the kicker gets a little annoyed. He had a bad snap on the previous PATs, wouldn't even get the attempt. Now he has one that doesn't go through, so a little upset. The adrenaline goes into the leg, and he puts it out of the end zone.
1st and 10 for Cheyney. Last time they had it, they put together a nice-looking scoring drive. Backs at an open set behind Apollo Wright. He's back to throw. He fires over the middle, has Jason Andrews, and Andrews gets about the 28-yard line before he is rocked. John Imp, 46, the linebacker. Michael Roberts there as well. Was Imp who made the big hit on Andrews. Did a good job hanging on to the football. And Cheyney with a good first down play out to the 28-yard line, 2nd down and 2.
They've been passing very well. 6 of 11 passing for 108 yards now. Very good in the passing game. Rated 11th in the PSAC, but they've been playing some schools that are a level up above them. Nice passing game so far.
Andrews wide to the left. Murray gets the call from his fullback position, looking for the first down yardage. He'll come up short. Good defensive work by the Huskies. John Imp moving in from his middle linebacker position. So it's going to be 3rd down and inches for the Wolves, just short of that 30-yard line. As Trent Flick, the freshman from Central Columbia, was in the lineup for that last play. He's out of there now as that 3rd and short. Huskies get an extra lineman in there, Brian Sims, big freshman from Downingtown. Here's a 3rd down call. Quarterback keeper by Apollo Wright. Fumbles the football. Jay Zaransky comes up with it. Returns inside the 20 to the 17-yard line.
It will count. There is no official going to the spot. Cheyney indicating, no, we were down. We were down before that ball came out, but it was just laying to the side of the big scrum. People not realizing it's there. Zaransky does, and the officials do. He picks it up and starts down toward his own goal. Eventually, Cheyney pursues and brings him down, but a turnover on the third and short would have forced a punt, but much better field position for the Huskies this way.
So Jay Zaransky has his second fumble recovery of the ball game. First one led to a Bloomsburg score, and now the Huskies at the 18-yard line, and Eddie Crothers is the tailback in the I formation, replacing Irv Ziegler from the 18. Miller takes the snap, gives the ball to Crothers. Crothers off the left side, spins away from one tackler, and is finally brought down by two Cheyney defensemen at the 13-yard line. So good work. Taylor Harris, the strong safety who had been shaken up earlier in the ballgame, back in there. Eddie Crothers is a talent in his own right. He's a junior from Carlisle. Obviously plays in the considerable shadow of Irv Ziegler, but he has always performed well when he's got the opportunity. 5 yards there. Second down for the Huskies at the Wolves 13. John Johnson gets the call. First off the left side, inside the 5, down to the 1-yard line. Strong run by John Johnson. First and goal for the Huskies. Jay Eubanks, the free safety, finally made the stop.
Cheyney focusing upon the tailback. Tailbacks have been meeting with success, and they forgot about the fullback bursting ahead. No huddle for the Huskies.
Bloomsburg comes to the 1-yard line. John Johnson the call, and he gets it in the end zone for Bloomsburg. Touchdown. John Johnson finishes it off for the score.
Straight ahead, Victor Brown at center, Tim Barrett left guard, providing the key wedge block on the inside. John Johnson, very powerful, 231 pounds in a 5'7" frame, and he explodes. So after a good 12-yard burst, he sets himself up for the 1-yard plunge.
Johnson with his first touchdown of the season. Tom Boop will attempt the extra point. Ron Loco will do the holding. Cheyney comes across. See if they were drawn across.
Taladane O'Connor coming through Adam Wright. Most likely this would be against Cheyney, moving 1.5 yards closer. I think the Huskies still want to kick this. The last 2 attempts, they haven't been able to kick the PAT. Once with a bad snap, the other with a bad kick. Going to be against the Huskies. They're going to say there was encroachment. We'll still see the kick, though, 5 yards deeper.
The way Tommy Boop boomed that last kickoff, this may be just as well to get back a little farther. Huskies have struggled in the extra point department. That's the only area they've struggled this afternoon. That lead is up to 25-6. The Boop will kick this one. The hold will be at the 15-yard line. Snap is there, placement, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Timeout on the field, 12:42 to go in the first half of play with the score. Bloomsburg 26 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Minutes and 42 seconds remain in the first half of play. Bloomsburg's lead is now 26-6. The last score, a 1-yard touchdown run by John Johnson. That 4-play drive set up by Jay Zaransky's fumble recovery at the Cheyney 18-yard line. Now Tom Boop will kick off following his extra point. Boop boomed one 9 yards deep in the end zone on his last kickoff. This time the kick again very, very high, and again very, very deep, and this one 9 yards deep in the end zone again, and it goes out.
9.5 yards deep, just a little bit further. He got it high. There's that breeze that helps it a little bit, but that is mostly foot. No return potential at all when it goes that far. Tommy Boop with a great leg.
First and 10 for Cheyney. Last time they had it, they gave it up on the fumble. The previous drive, they put together a 9-play, 72-yard scoring drive. Most effective plays coming through the air, although they did have a 21-yard run by fullback Lamar Murray along the way.
3 fumbles in this game for the Cheyney Wolves.
Andre Gilliam is the tailback. He gets the call off the right side, has a little bit of running room, gets out near the 25-yard line. It's a good first down call for the Wolves. They pick up 5 on the play. John Hips in on the play for the Huskies. So it'll be second down and 5 for the Wolves.
When you scout a team, you try to take away its best offensive weapons, and Dondre Gilliam is the talent on this team, and the Huskies have limited him in 10 carries to only 10 yards. Now, they have been exploited some by the fullback, Lamar Murray, who on 5 carries has 49 and also some nice pass catches. But as the tailback, he's been kept in check for the most part.
Tom Rateke's in at a linebacker position for the Huskies on this series as Lamar Murray gets the call straight ahead and nothing doing. Right about the line of scrimmage is where Murray is brought down. Bloomsburg comes into this ball game with some very strong defensive numbers, and the strongest of all, just 7 points a game given up, as we have one of the Wolves injured on the play.
Cameron Driver, 310-pound freshman, limping off. Needing help.
Getting back to those defensive numbers for the Huskies, obviously the one that really counts is the points per game, and that's 7 a game coming into this one, which puts Bloomsburg number 1 in the PSAC, but also number 3 in the entire nation in Division II football in that category. And, of course, that's the number 1 defensive number. The Huskies hope they could keep that throughout this season. That would really, really be impressive.
Certainly would. Of course, you take it all the way to the top. You're looking at a tremendous defensive coordinator in John Devlin. John, talking to him before the game, he just exudes football knowledge. Been in so many top Division I programs, coach for the Houston Oilers. Really knows his stuff and conveys it to his defensive players.
3rd and 5. Cheyney at their own 25-yard line. Right back to throw. Fires a quick out beyond the reach of the intended receiver, number 1, Ronald Lawrence, a freshman from Tampa, Florida. Good heat on the quarterback that time. Justin Vent was right in the face of Apollo Wright as he let it go. So 4th and 5, and Cheyney brings the punt unit on.
Justin Vent might have even got a piece of that, might have tipped it with his hand. He's been having a strong game, very noticeable in this first half.
Lawrence Posey, a freshman from Camden, New Jersey, will do the punting for the Wolves, standing back at his 8-yard line. Snap is there, and Posey gets the kick away. Very, very high and short, and Roberts takes the kick and is brought down right in his tracks. A dangerous play by Michael Roberts. He did not call for the fair catch, and Jason Andrews was right there. Could have really leveled him. We just went for the tackle at the Cheyney 47-yard line.
Well, you still have to let the man catch the ball, but if you time it right with your sprint, he catches it, you can drive right through him. They might be saying you didn't give him enough room to catch that, Jim. An interference to catch the punt. You have to allow the man 2 yards. And I think Andrews might have already been inside of that 2-yard zone, which is an interference. So he timed it a little bit too quickly. We'll see a 5-yard movement. Still a 1st and 10 for the Huskies. Put it on the 42 of Cheyney.
11 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in this first half. Bloomsburg leading it 26-6. And Irv Sigler back in there at the tailback controls for the Huskies. And he gets the football, burst up the middle, cuts it to the outside, does a 360 spin, gets down to the 31-yard line. A spectacular move as he appeared to be wrapped up around the 34, did a complete 360, and gets about 11 yards on the carry before Taekwondo Gilliam can make the stop. The officials stop play.
Might decide to measure it, bring the chain across. I thought he had the chain. By the spot they're giving him, it's going to be rather close. They'll bring it across. He is such a special talent. He just has that desire to where he's not going to go down, and that becomes contagious. The rest of the team realizes, hey, Irv's getting the ball on this play. If I get my block, I better head downfield because I'll probably see him down there in another 10 or 15 yards, and I can get a second block, and he can go all the way. There's that much confidence in his abilities. He makes the rest of the players play better. He did earn that first down.
You know, in the officials' first stop play, I thought they were going to discuss whether that move was legal on part of Irv Sigler.
Well, you can't hurdle people, but nothing like that involved. He just kind of got caught up in the scrum, kept his feet moving. Other blockers came in. All of a sudden, he spun, completely around. As you mentioned, did a 360 type of spin and ended up back in the right direction and gets to the chain.
1st and 10, Bloomsburg at the Cheyney 32-yard line. Johnson again ahead of Sigler in the I formation. Ron Loco wide to the right side, and Norris back to throw. And he fires to the sideline, and he has Ron Loco. And he gets out of bounds around the 22-yard line, very close to the first down yardage. So Miller on the roll, hits Ron Loco for close to 10 yards on the play.
First pass completion. He threw 3 in one series in succession, 3 bombs in a row. Huskies right up to the line of scrimmage on this short down situation.
9 yards on that reception. Bloomsburg at the Cheyney 23-yard line. Sigler gets the call off the right side, looks for his running room at the 15, at the 10, at the 5, and Irv Sigler is knocked out of bounds down around the goal line.
They weren't going to signal. I thought he had worked his way in, but just pushed out of bounds right before the pylon. The Huskies don't like to huddle because they don't want to see defensive substitutions in a short yardage situation. So they come right out with a standard running play, but the standard short yardage running play turns into about a 20-yard gain for Sigler.
21 to be exact. First and goal from the 2-yard line. Sigler gets the call off the right side, tripped up behind the line, but breaks away, gets in for the touchdown. Boy, Frank McDermott, who's an excellent middle linebacker, got Sigler, appeared to trip him up, but somehow he kept his balance and got in there.
He is tremendous. He just kind of prevented his knee from going down, willed it not to go down before he could drag himself on his arm a little further to get the ball across. Great sense of where the goal was, able to score that. I now have him with 11 carries for 173 yards.
And 4 touchdowns. The latest from the 2-yard line, expanding Bloomsburg's lead to 32-6. Still a long way to go in this first half. Tom Boop will attempt the extra point. Out of the hold of Ron Loco. Snap, placement, kick is up, and the kick is good. Time out on the field, 10:17 to go in the first half of play with the score. Bloomsburg 33 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. 2 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Irv Sigler with some spectacular first half numbers.
He is 11 carries for 173 officially, 4 touchdowns. Record for touchdowns in a game is held by Irv Sigler and Mike Johnson. Irv Sigler did it last year against East Stroudsburg, got 5 touchdowns. Mike Johnson against Cheyney, all 5 in one half of that game, Jim.
Tom Boop will kick off. His last 2 sailed into the end zone and make it 3. This one goes 2 yards beyond the end zone.
Oh, that's a show. Fans like to see that type of kicking. There is no return. First one went 9 yards deep, the second 9.5, and this one's 12 yards deep, 2 yards beyond the official playing surface. What a kick.
Kicking coach Lou McGrone couldn't get over to Tommy Boop any faster. He's delighted with what he's seeing today on those kickoffs. And Cheyney will put the ball in play, 1st and 10 at their own 20, with 10 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in this first half of play. And Bloomsburg leading it 33-6. Baltimore ahead of Gilliam in the I formation. Long count. Paulo Wright gives the ball to Gilliam. He's going to try to sweep the left side, and Ben Hennicle comes up, hits him. The ball leaves his hands but goes out of bounds. So Hennicle with a good play from his safety position.
Free safety cheats up as a linebacker when he sensed that run all the way. He saw the handoff. He immediately breaks up, gives up on any type of passing action, and plays it very, very aggressively. Other people keep him wide so he can't get the soft corner that's stringing out. Hennicle comes across and drops him for that 2-yard loss. Very fine play. Number 5 on the team in tackles with 19 coming into this game.
2nd down and 12. Cheyney with the football back at their 18-yard line. Gilliam takes the pitch, sweeps the right side, Murray out in front, flags fly as Gilliam is forced out of bounds. Hennicle not happy with himself. Again, he got across that line of scrimmage and had a chance to bring Gilliam down for another big loss that time. But Gilliam able to get away, got back to the 20-yard line. We'll check the flag.
Yeah, Hennicle did have the opportunity. The free safety had some freedom to be able to rove around a little bit. He followed him from that position, came up with strong run support, and had him about 5 or 6 yards in the backfield, but the runner was able to elude him. So he was mad. They like to see the tackles and also tackles for loss, a separate type of statistic. There he would have had 2 on successive plays. The strong safety would have certainly enjoyed watching the film session with John Devlin on those back-to-back plays, but there he just couldn't come up with the tackle.
After a long conference, we have a holding call against Cheyney, and that will bring the ball back to the 9-yard line and bring up a 2nd down and 21 for the Wolves at that point. 9 minutes and 42 seconds remaining. Still halftime. time at the half. We'll have a talk with Adam Wright, Husky starting right offensive tackle. He has some great things to say about his role as a tackle and as a snapper and also as a teammate of Irv Ziegler. And we'll also have an update on the college football scoreboard with Dave Delbo. 2nd and 21. Cheyney back at their 9. Back to throw is Apollo Wright. Fires over the middle. Has his man, Bobby McCray. McCray at the 24-yard line and forced out of bounds there. The Wright has shown during the course of this afternoon that when he gets a little bit of time, he can throw on target. Ben Hennicle on the stop for the Huskies.
7th pass complete in 14 attempts, and he does find those people slanting over the middle. Not quite to the chains because of the holding penalty, but it makes it a makeable situation here. 3rd and about 6.
The ball at the 24-yard line, so 15 yards on the pass completion to Bobby McCray. And McCray, one of 3 receivers to the left side, with Murray the lone running back on the 3rd down call. Wright takes the snap, straight drop back to throw, in trouble, then fires the pass, and McCray makes a terrific catch for a first down at the 33. I mean, Jay Zaransky was all over him, and somehow McCray came up with it, a pickup of 9.
Incredible catch. They saw that there was going to be the ball on target toward the receiver, so Zaransky came up, and as soon as the man touched it, he just took his head off and pulled him down, sort of a guillotine action, but he caught it with the other arm and was able to maintain possession and fall to the right side of the chain. Beautiful play.
9 yards on the completion. 1st and 10 for the Wolves at their own 33-yard line. McCray is wide to the left side. The give is to Gilliam, hit behind the line, and he'll just barely get to the line of scrimmage if he does. Tony Brown with a good defensive play. 6'1", 269-pound sophomore out of Reading. He'll be that starting defensive end for the remainder of this season after the injury to Alec Wiley, and Brown's been in the action this afternoon.
He has. In fact, both defensive ends have played very well. Justin Vent's been very visible, and they're not doing anything on Tony Brown's side at all. The tailback, Andre Gilliam, looks like he has a type of talent and speed where he likes to run sweeps or go with that option, but the defensive ends have frustrated him.
2nd and 9 for Cheyney at their own 33-yard line. Right play action, and then he's brought down by Chris Acuff coming hard. The play action didn't fool anyone, particularly Chris Acuff, as he was coming in hard. Thomas Towers, number 54, is in their linebacker spot for the Huskies, also making the play. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 15 for the Wolves.
A 2nd sack of the year for Acuff, coming hard up the middle on a designated blitz, anticipating a play. Found the lane and right to the quarterback, brings him down.
Clock running with 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this first half. Spectacular sunshiny afternoon here at Redmond Stadium. Good crowd on hand. Parents' Day. 3rd down and 15 as Apollo Wright is back to throw. Steps up into it, looking long down the far sideline to Johnson, knocked down by Mike Roberts. Terrific play by Roberts. That pass on target to Terrell Johnson. Roberts goes up at the last moment to flick it away.
Really made a nice play. He's not the tallest. He's only 5'9", and Terrell Johnson goes 6'1", so they tried to use the speed, get deep. It's going to be isolated, throw it up high, and then try to out-jump each other. But Roberts in tremendous position, went up very high and knocked it out of the hands of the receiver.
4th down, and Lawrence Posey on to do the punting. Snap is there, gets the kick away. Very, very high, very, very short. Bounces around midfield, takes a Cheyney roll, and will roll dead around the 42-yard line of Bloomsburg. That's where the Huskies will put it in play with 6:41 to go in the first half, and Bloomsburg leading by a score of 33-6.
Offensively, the game has been Irv Ziegler's. 11 carries for 173 yards, 4 touchdowns. Looks like anytime he touches the ball on a run, he has the potential to go all the way. He probably won't see a whole lot of second half action the way the score is, but he's been averaging 221 yards a game, and you'd like to keep him at that average, especially against a weak opponent. He's in there now as the sole back.
And John Johnson not in there, so Sigler is the lone running back behind quarterback Eric Miller from the 42-yard line. Sigler gets the call, tries the left side over the 45, over midfield to the Cheyney 45-yard line, gets behind a blocker, gets to the 41-yard line. Irv Sigler playing hide and seek down there about the 43-yard line, crouched down behind a blocker, picked up a couple of yards. Taylor Harris made the stop for Cheyney.
That run should give him 200 here as we're approaching halftime. Beautiful run. He did just stop on the sideline, did not go out. There was no one pressuring him, and then cuts back and gets more.
17 yards on that carry. 1st and 10 at the 41. Miller takes the snap, rolls right, fires a bullet pass, and a completion at the 31-yard line to Ron Loco. So Miller on the run with the completion to Ron Loco. Bloomsburg working without a huddle now.
They do that in the short yardage situation. They're not going to move the chains. They're going to, or are they? Yes, they are.
11 yards on that pickup to Ron Loco.
Working the 2-minute drill, then it's going down here.
Bloomsburg at the 30-yard line of Cheyney. Slot to the near side of the field. Ziegler, the lone running back, gets the call, hit, fumbles the football. Cheyney gets on at the 32-yard line. Ziegler coughed it up, and the Wolves able to come up with the football as Darren Daniels, 245-pound sophomore from Pottstown, comes up with the ball.
Not too many mistakes by Irv Ziegler. He had 200 yards, but with that being fumbled in the backfield by Ziegler, we'll have to drop him to about 198. Man came in, punched it away. Ziegler looking, trying to find the lane. Things stuffed up early, and as he's sort of deciding which way to go, ball gets knocked away from him, and Cheyney will take advantage of the turnover. 1st and 10 Wolves at their own 32-yard line. 6:11 remaining first half. Bloomsburg with the lead of 33-6. Vincent Brown, a freshman fullback, in there for the Wolves as Apollo Wright is back to throw. Fires a quick out, hits the tight end, Dorian West. He was hit hard by Michael Roberts. Bounced away, and Chris Acuff finished him off at about the 36-yard line. So about a 4-yard pickup on the completion to Dorian West. Good look at tight end, 6'6", 240-pound junior out of Frankfurt High School in Philadelphia. Yeah, he looks very, very good. He stands out on that team. In fact, the size is impressive as listed. He might even be a little bit bigger than that. He's going to the sidelines for this play, but a very physical player, very visible receiver.
2nd down and 4 call for the Wolves. Gilliam, the tailback in the I formation, gets the call, tries the left side, and not much doing. Justin Fent, first one there for the Huskies. So we'll bring up a 3rd down call for Cheyney. Ball at the 37-yard line. 3rd down, about 5. Talked about Irv Ziegler leading the nation in Division II rushing, 221 yards. He's well ahead of the next highest man. In fact, the 2nd leading rusher in the nation in Division II has 192 yards. 3rd down and 5. For Cheyney. Bloomsburg showing blitz. They're coming hard. The call goes to Gilliam. He breaks free, and Gilliam out to the 49-yard line. That'll happen sometimes with a blitz on the run. The players run by that ball carrier. That time Gilliam got a good run. Jay Zaransky on the stop. Finish up on those numbers by Irv Ziegler. If you're wondering what Division 1A has as far as their leading rusher, Tavian Banks is having a spectacular senior season for Iowa. Leads the nation in 1A football, but his average 208 yards per game. 1st and 10 for Cheyney at their own 49. Right back to throw. Gets by a would-be sack man and fires long downfield for Johnson. The ball picked off. No. Incomplete. Jay Zaransky went up, got his hands on it, just couldn't pull it down. Dwayne Davis, number 97, a redshirt freshman, was in pursuit of the quarterback that time. Apollo Wright, he was able to get it off, and Zaransky, who has 2 fumble recoveries in this game, almost had the interception.
Yeah, great play by Dwayne Davis coming in. He had the quarterback by the arm, but we've mentioned Apollo Wright has a lot of poise, does knock it down easily, willing to scrabble, anticipates a lot of pressure. So the quarterback is able to fight his way away, buy himself more time, and heaves it downfield to a receiver potentially open.
2nd down and 10 call, and Wright will run the option to the left and picks up some yardage as he gets over midfield to the Bloomsburg 45-yard line.
Option's a nice play. He struggled in the opening play of the game where he pitched it poorly, and it resulted in a fumble. So we haven't seen Wright run the option since. This time he runs it without the pitch. He turns it upfield, and it's a nice gain.
Picked pickup of 6 yards, closer to 7, 3rd down, and 3 for Cheyney in Bloomsburg territory. Murray gets the call, has the first down, and then some inside the 40, inside the 35, and down to the 31-yard line. 14 yards for Lamar Murray, and a 1st and 10 for the Wolves. Trying to get on the board one more time before this half ends. John Imp made the stop for the Huskies. And one of the Huskies looks like Jay Zaransky shaken up on that play. Spectacular high school career at Central Columbia, both as an offensive player. In fact, his offensive numbers were so good at Central, particularly his last 2 seasons, that you overlook the fact that he was such a good defensive player. And I remember an interview with his high school coach, Jeff Osborne, late in the season, and saying, you know, he has all these numbers offensively, but he's even better on defense. And talking to the Bloomsburg coaching staff, they like Trent Flick a lot, and he's going to see a lot of action before his career is over. In fact, he's going to see action right away here as he comes out to play that safety position, replacing Jay Zaransky.
The offense is always very visible, and high school players will stand out because that's where you get the statistics, that's where you do get the press. When you get to the college level of ball, it's just as important to have tremendous talent on the defensive side of the ball. And the Huskies have been blessed with some great linebackers, some great secondary play, great cornerbacks over the years. And it's a defense that has an awful lot of tradition. So when they do get their recruits, John Devlin's going to argue just as much, you know, to get that talent onto his side, into his unit. They need to see it there for the big plays.
Well, Jay Zaransky appears to be okay. He's walking off with trainer Joe Hazard, and Trent Flick has replaced him at the strong safety position. Cheyney has the ball at the Bloomsburg 31-yard line with a 1st and 10, 4:06 to go in the first half. Huskies leading it by a score of 33-6. Backs in an open set behind quarterback Apollo Wright. Pitches to the left side to Gilliam, who lost his footing and then was buried by Chris Luft. Luft coming in there, 6'2", 273-pound junior out of Daniel Boone High School. There'll be a loss in the play back to the 34-yard line. 2nd down and 13 for Cheyney.
They have a nice rhythm going offensively, and sometimes a stoppage like that injury timeout can stall you out a little bit. 1st and 10 after moving the ball the length of the field. And here they lose yardage on the 1st down play.
Freshman Ronald Lawrence is in there to wide receiver. He's in a slot to the right side, but Wright throws the other way, and Terrell Johnson goes up high, makes the grab, but John Zalos and Jay Brook combined to knock him out of bounds across the way after a pickup of about 4. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 9 for Cheyney.
They've been unpredictable on 3rd and long. They've had some long passes, slanting people over the middle. They've also been successful with Lamar Murray, whether it be via screen pass down the middle or just sort of sliding him up on the quick hitter. They have to watch for all aspects of this offense defensively.
Here comes a 3rd down and 9 call. I formation, slot to the right side. Wright takes the snap, straight drop back to throw, looking long over the middle of Bobby McCray, tipped it incomplete. Michael Roberts went high, may have gotten a hand on it. McCray may have had a hand on it. Ball pretty well thrown by Apollo Wright. So now Cheyney with a 4th and 9 at the Bloomsburg 30, and the Wolves will go for it.
Yeah, they will. Ben Hennikel also in the area. The ball was tipped, but not tipped all that far. So when Roberts tipped it, there was still the opportunity for the man to make the catch. Ben Hennikel, once he saw the ball tipped, pushed the man out of the way. There's no longer a threat of pass interference. So good play by everyone down there defensively.
Here's a 4th and 9 for Cheyney at the Bloomsburg 30. Slot to the right, I formation. Wright takes the snap, back to throw, looking, fires into the end zone, and it's intercepted. Intercepted as the ball intended for McCray, and it's picked off by Ben Hennikel. So Bloomsburg will get the football, and they'll take over at their own 20-yard line.
Jim, I think it was Trent Flick back there in coverage. That's who they were congratulating. Men went down to the ground after, and he's getting high fives on the sideline. So Trent Flick coming down with that interception. 4th down incomplete would have turned out just about the same, but the instinct is to take that ball away. And Trent Flick, the Central Columbia product, gets his first interception in a Husky uniform. 1st and 10 for Bloomsburg at the 20-yard line.
Miller, the tailback in the I formation. Miller takes the snap, back to throw, fires a quick out, has Ron Loco, and he grabs the pass and gets out of bounds, first down at the 31-yard line. You know, I don't like all the hot dogging that goes on in the NFL, but one thing about the NFL, when someone intercepts, you know who it is. Because they make a scene. In college, of course, the way Trent Flick is, he's so unassuming that he's not going to come anywhere near that. And so he was congratulated by 3 or 4 people, then they all broke to the sideline with the same demeanor. Hard to tell. 1st and 10 for Bloomsburg at the 31-yard line. The give is to Ziegler off the left side. It's a 35, lowers the shoulder, gets out near the 40-yard line. So Ziegler picks up close to 9 on the play. Shea Eubanks, the free safety, makes the stop for the Wolves.
His game average is 221 yards here with 2 minutes before halftime. He's back up to 206 yards after that run.
2nd down and 2 for Bloomsburg. The chances are we won't see much of Irv Ziegler, if any, in the second half. So I'll try to get him his yards here as Johnson, the fullback, leading the blocking as Miller rolls right, fires a pass, and hits Ron Loco. And 10 more yards. And of course, that is a pattern that was so devastating a year ago, actually the last couple of seasons, with Glenn McNamee throwing to Ron Loco. Hasn't come around just yet because the redshirt freshman hasn't had a lot of time to work with Ron Loco, but boy, that's the very pattern right there that was such a staple of the Huskies offense a year ago.
All right, and they did it in the last 4 passes in a row, a 9-yarder, an 11-yarder, a 15-yarder, and a 10-yarder, this time from Eric Miller to Ron Loco. So 3 bombs to start the game, and then 4 of these out patterns all hitting.
Back to throw, the inside screen to Randy Davidson at the Cheyney 45, to the 40, to the 35, to 30, and down to the 23-yard line. Randy Davidson catches the inside screen, another play that the Huskies have used in the past effectively. Frank McDermott finally made the stop, but they pick up 26 yards on the completion to Davidson, and a 1st and 10 Huskies at the Wolves 23. Bloomsburg working without a huddle. Miller back to throw once again. Fires the pass, has Mike Loco, and he's out of bounds the 14-yard line. This is a nice-looking drive toward the end of the half with 1:19 remaining, and the redshirt freshman, Eric Miller, has been on target.
6 passes in a row. First 4 to Ron Loco, then Davidson with the screen. Now Mike Loco on the other side with the out pattern. Coming up just short. Timeout, Cheyney.
1:19 to go in the half. 33-6 Huskies. We'll be back in 30 seconds. To add to what is a 33-6 lead, what's got to be pleasing to the Husky coaching staff on this drive, the passing of redshirt freshman Eric Miller. He's been on target. Irv Ziegler, the lone running back behind him. Slot to the right side. Miller's back to throw. Dumps it over the middle. Has the tight end, Sullivan. He is clobbered, but hangs on to the football at the 9-yard line. As Frank McDermott and Pierre Campbell did the double team on the big freshman tight end, Brian Sullivan. But he made the grab. They pick up 5 to the 9-yard line. 1st and goal. 1:12 to go in the half.
7 passes in a row.
From the 9, Miller's back to throw, and he lobs at the end zone. Ron Loco goes high and cannot bring it down. Got his hands on it, but was hit by Taylor Harris, the strong safety. James Long there as well. And it will stop the clock with 1:02 to go in the half. 2nd and goal, Bloomsburg at the 9.
Huskies have their timeouts, but they're working on controlling the clock, working the sideline, working things as they can with this passing game. Quarterback again on target. Loco in the area in the hands, but they're the type of hit in the secondary or pull the arms away from the receiver. So 7 consecutive completions destroyed on that last pass.
2nd and goal from the 9. Miller back to throw once again. Nothing there. He's going to have to run with it. Gets inside the 5. Goes in for the touchdown. However, there is a flag down on the play.
There'll be a hold upfield a little bit, and the holder is begging, no, I didn't do it. The flag thrown in that area will negate the touchdown. A lot of poise by the quarterback. Saw that he was being pressured, sidestepped it. He's a talented runner. Eventually, as he commits to the run, he works to the sideline, anticipating stepping out of bounds to stop the clock, but he kept getting that lane, saw the flag, and was able to step in. But it will be negated. From the spot of the hold on about the 7-yard line, they'll march it off. So they'll put it on the 17.
Boy, that last completion that Miller had to Brian Sullivan. Sullivan doing a great job hanging on after taking that big hit. And when you talk about the future, Sullivan 6'6", 245-pound freshman tight end.
Well, it really did take a lick. He knew he was going to hit, and the quarterback knew he was going to take the shot, but he was going to make the change. It's a physical game. You take the shot for the team.
From the 17-yard line, 2nd down and goal. And here's the end around to Ron Loco. He's got blockers out in front. He's inside the 10, the 5, and he's in for the touchdown. Ron Loco on the end around gets the handoff, goes 17 yards for the score.
I'm glad you had the play-by-play because I thought for sure Irv Ziegler had the ball, and I'm watching him run and wondering why no one's going to tackle him. Tremendous fake on the inside. Lelko takes the end around, and he finds his lane. Has to dive for that pylon at the last minute, but untouched up to that point.
So the Husky All-Americans have played like All-Americans today. With 44 seconds to go in the half, Ziegler, Lelko, Tim Bear doing the blocking on that front. Now Tom Boop with the extra point attempt. Long count, snap is there, placement's there, kick is up, and the kick is good. Time out on the field, 44 seconds to go in the first half of play with the score. Bloomsburg 40 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Here, 44 seconds remaining in the first half. Terrific drive by Bloomsburg. That last possession, 8 plays, 72 yards. Eric Miller, Huskies redshirt freshman quarterback, was 5 for 6 in passing. And Ron Loco on the end around, taking it 17 yards for the score to finish things off. 40-6 Huskies, closing moments of the first half. Tom Boop has had 3 straight kicks go out of the end zone. This one will come up short. Not very short. Andre Baltimore at the 1-yard line. To the 10, to the 15, to the 20, and then he is ridden out of bounds across the way at about the 21-yard line. So that kick very, very high. Down to make the tackle for the Huskies, Brian McAndrew, is a freshman from North Schuylkill High School. And Cheyney will get the football. With that big lead, we're going to see a lot of this spectacular freshman recruiting class that the Huskies have in the second half. Cheyney with the ball at their own 21, just 37 seconds to go in the half. Wolves with 2 timeouts remaining. As Apollo Wright sets his team down, Murray, the fullback, goes in motion. He leads the blocking as Gilliam takes the pitch off the left side. He's over the 25 out to the 30 and appears to have the first down. Andre Gilliam, Andy, looks like he's got some talent, so they get him some room. He has speed like the tailback.
He is strong. He has that flash. I think the Huskies have been keying on him. They figure he is the primary weapon, and we need to stop him first. And that's allowed for some vulnerable areas by the fullback splitting the middle and perhaps sometime in pass coverage. Here the Huskies, I think, are laying back a little bit, anticipating pass, and he makes that nice sweeping action go to move the chains.
10 yards on that carry. Right back to throw. Fires has that big tight end, Dorian West, and he's wrestled down at the 47-yard line by Ben Hennicle. So Cheyney will pick up 16 yards, and they'll stop the clock. We'll keep it right here with 10 seconds remaining in the half, as they'll use their second timeout.
I really like Dorian West. Tight end is tremendous. I'd leave him in there for every play. Looks like he's big enough to block effectively. There the pass is thrown behind him. He just slows down a little bit, nonchalantly grabs from behind, then turns forward for the run. Tremendous target. Prototypical tight end in size, 6'6", soft hands, very aggressive player. I like him.
We hope you'll stay with us at halftime. Sides bring you the first half scoring and statistics. We'll take a look at the college football scoreboard, get an update on that from Dave Delbo. And you'll also hear from Adam Wright in our Husky Spotlight feature. 10 seconds to go in this one. I thought Cheyney had an additional timeout left, but I think I just saw the official indicate that they are out of timeout. So 10 seconds to go. Time for maybe 2 more plays.
Huskies have a prevent defense in. 3 men on the defensive line, 4 underneath and 4 deep. Coverage type of people even at the linebacker spots.
10 seconds to go. Wolves at their own 46-yard line. Wright takes the snap. Back to throw. Tony Brown in pursuit, and Wright is able to throw the ball ahead. Flag flies, and let's see, maybe intentional grounding and maybe a moot point as the first half has run out. Tony Brown with good heat on the quarterback, and that is the call. It's an intentional grounding. That will be the end of the first half of play. With the score, Bloomsburg University 40, Cheyney University 6. We'll be back with the first half scoring in 60 seconds.
Husky Flashback, brought to you by the End Zone Sports Bar and Grill at the Quality Inn, Buckhorn. November 3rd, 19... Live action, Visa or MasterCard is required.
Captains meeting at the center of the field, moments away from the kickoff to start the second half. Here before a Parents' Day crowd at Redmond Stadium with Bloomsburg leading Cheyney by a score of 40-6. Mention the Huskies on the road next Saturday as they continue PSAC East play at Mansfield. That'll be a 1 o'clock kickoff. We hope you'll join us for the broadcast of that one, starting with the Husky Countdown Show at 12:30. And then you will want to make your plans to be here at Redmond Stadium that following Saturday. That's October the 18th, because Millersville will be in here at Redmond Stadium for 1:30 kickoff. Always a great day because it's homecoming. Always a great day because it's Millersville. And should be a great day because that should be one of the key games in the PSAC East. Huskies have won this division 3 years in a row. They actually shared it with two different teams. But last year they won it outright, and they'd love to win this one this year outright again. They've got some big games coming up, and two of the biggest of the games are at home. Millersville, as I mentioned, on October the 18th, and then November the 8th, Westchester, before the Huskies end the season at East Stroudsburg. It's going to be a tough road. There'll be a lot tougher afternoons than this particular one that shows Bloomsburg leading by 40-6 at the half. But I'm kind of anxious for this second half because I know that Bloomsburg has had this terrific recruiting class, and they really haven't redshirted many of them on the squad, on special teams, and so on. We may see them in more prominent roles in this second half. Huskies will get the ball to start the half. They'll be moving from our left to our right, and Lamar Murray will be kicking off for the Wolves of Cheyney.
A little late getting a player on there. Cheyney a little late coming back from halftime as well. We had an extended halftime because of the Parents' Day festivities, so Cheyney spent a little more time in the house. Now we're going to get the whistle pretty soon. We'll be ready to go.
Another area where Bloomsburg would like to improve is special teams as far as returns. They haven't had the spectacular returns that they've been used to in the past. Steve Eichert, who's deep now, had a spectacular return against Lock Haven. However, that was called back by a penalty. We'll see if he gets an opportunity. The first time Murray kicked off, didn't go far enough to get to Eichert, who's standing middle of the field at the 12-yard line. Second half underway as Murray's kick is a low line drive and picked up by one of the up men, returned to the 42-yard line. The kick came up short, and Jim Lanigan, a freshman defensive end out of Philadelphia, on the return, Berlin Theodore made the stop for Cheyney. And Bloomsburg will take over 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line, and Irv Sigler will get a start, as will all the regulars to start this second half.
He'll repeat his first half numbers: 13 carries for 199 yards. But he's come into the game averaging 221 yards a game. He'd like to maintain that or up it some.
Terry O'Brien, the tight end, on the right side. Sigler, the tailback in the I formation, gets the call. John Johnson out in front. Sigler over midfield. Makes a great cut. Gets away at the 45. Cuts inside to the 40-yard line. Breaks away at the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, and he's in! A spectacular run by Irv Sigler. 58 yards altogether.
No way he should be able to score on that play. He had a tremendous lane, the type of lane you can drive the truck through. Proverbially, that was there, but once he hit about 10 yards downfield, he should have been stopped. He must have broken away from 6 or 7 potential tacklers. Worked his way across the field, trying to avoid people from right to left. Then once he got there, he's breaking tackles and spinning again. And then finally a burst of speed, something that looked like it could not go the distance, does go the distance because of the talents of Irv Sigler.
Now Chris Connolly is on to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Loco. Connolly's kick is up, and Connolly's kick is good. Timeout on the field. 14:33 to go in the third quarter play with the score. Bloomsburg 47 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. On his first carry of the second half has tied a school record, his 5th touchdown rushing of this ball game, a record that he held along with Mike Johnson, and he has his longest run of the season, 58 yards. And Andy, his total is now up to
257. So he's approaching his career high of 278, which he set in the last game against Lock Haven. Mike Johnson has 5 touchdowns on this field against Cheyney. His 5th was on the last play of the half. Ziegler here, his 5th on the first play of the half.
Tom Booth kicking into the wind, kicks up short at the 11-yard line, fielded by Andre Baltimore to the 20, to the 25, 30, 35, and Baltimore gets out to the 39-yard line. So Cheyney on their first possession of the second half will take over in good field position. And again, Ziegler with a spectacular run, but the first part of that, say the first 15, 20 yards, was Bloomsburg's offensive line and John Johnson just leading the way downfield.
Yeah, the offensive line got a seam that was about 4 or 5 yards wide, and John Johnson then led Ziegler through that. So you're not seeing anyone who has a potential for a tackler for about 10 yards. But then about 6 or 7 other people should have brought him down, and he just ignores them, keeps breaking away, and goes all the way.
1st and 10 for Cheyney. They give us to Gilliam, and he's brought down for a loss on the play. Big freshman Brian Sims, 6'1", 255-pounder out of Downingtown, in to make the play. Loss of 5 back to the 34-yard line. Well, you heard, if you heard our halftime feature, Husky Spotlight, you heard Adam Rice, Huskies right tackle, saying, I just love to watch and laugh as people try to make the tackle downfield. Well, he must have got a great laugh out of that one, because Ziegler made a lot of people look silly.
Yeah, they ran it right over him. He and Casey Knight opened that incredible seam that John Johnson and Ziegler with the ball were able to burst through.
2nd and 5, right back to throw. 2nd and 15, I should say, and another sack. And again, it's that freshman Sims in there, along with Tony Brown and Gary Fittery there as well. We talked about the talented freshman class that Bloomsburg has. It includes Brian Sims, big guy out of Downingtown, who now comes out of the Bloomsburg front as they get an extra defensive back in there. So he's in on the quarterback on consecutive plays. That one for a 7-yard loss, and it's 3rd down and 22 for Cheyney.
Cheyney's offense has looked sharp in the first half, but the Huskies coming in defensively with 2 consecutive sacks is saying quite a bit.
Backs in the open set. Powell right takes the snap, back to throw, rolling right, firing long downfield for Andrews, overthrown. Ben Hennikel and John Zalos there in the coverage for the Huskies. So Bloomsburg comes up big on defense, their first series of the second half. Steve Eichert and Michael Roberts will now anticipate the punt by Lawrence Posey.
They would like to get more out of these return teams, Jim, but sometimes you're limited by the strength of the punter. And Posey only averages 26 yards a punt. These guys are about 40 yards deep from the line of scrimmage. He probably won't reach them.
Luis Gutierrez with the snap. Bloomsburg coming hard. The kick is away. It's very, very high, and Eichert will fair catch at the Bloomsburg 42-yard line. The Huskies will put it in play, 1st and 10, with 12:22 remaining in the third quarter play, and Bloomsburg leading by a score of 47-6. And Irv Ziegler will not be in the backfield for this series, at least the start of it. Ed Carruthers, the junior out of Carlisle High School, will be in his stead. In fact, Carruthers is the lone back behind quarterback Eric Miller from the 42-yard line. Miller takes the snap, gives to Carruthers off the right side, over the 45, over midfield to the Cheyney 45, and bumped out of bounds at about the 42-yard line of the Wolves. Taylor Harris, the strong safety, makes the play. So Eddie Carruthers adds to Bloomsburg's impressive rushing totals. Remember, we're talking so much about Ziegler, but the Huskies, of course, led by Ziegler, the #1 team in the PSAC in rushing offense, 11th in the nation coming into this one, and adds 16 to that total on the run by Carruthers.
And 274 yards a game is their average, and you have to credit the offensive line for a lot of that.
Miller takes the snap, back to throw, fires over the middle, comes up short. Tempted pass for Mike Loco, who is open over the middle. Miller not happy with himself. It's the helmet with both hands as he now looks to the sidelines for the next call. It'll be 2nd and 10 Huskies at the Cheyney 42.
Mike Loco burst down the right side like a fly pattern, but then bent it into the middle, and it's at the point there where he got separation from the cornerback covering him. He was open for the reception. He eventually would have been tackled. I think a little bit too much trying to get him away from that man, who ends up underthrown.
Ball at the 42. Ron Loco on a wing to the right side as Miller takes the snap, back to throw, fires to the sideline. Ron Loco down on a knee, makes the grab at the 35-yard line. So Loco with a 7-yard reception before Pierre Campbell, the linebacker, can make the play for the Wolves. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 3 for Bloomsburg at the Cheyney 35.
Ziegler owns a lot of number 1s in the PSAC for rushes and rushing average and yards per game, but Mike Loco also is up among the leaders in receiving. Ron Loco, and he hasn't done all that much because they've limited how much they want the quarterback throwing. He now has 5 catches in this game.
Jeremiah Schumann is now in there at the fullback position ahead of Crothers in the I formation. Cheyney coming on a blitz, flags, and whistles before the play got started.
They saw that blitz coming. I don't know if he was across the line before the snap or if the Huskies flinched in trying to pick up that blitz. Umpire talking to the referee, and they'll signal toward the press box now which way this 5 yards will go.
Eric Miller's probably happy that play didn't come through because that middle linebacker, Frank McDermott, was coming hard. Now Bloomsburg will use a timeout here. 10:54 to go, 3rd quarter, 47-6 Huskies. We'll be back in 30 seconds. So it'll be a tough trip for the Huskies in a couple of weeks when they travel to Shippensburg. Bloomsburg with the ball at the Cheyney 35-yard line. 3rd down and 3. Eric Miller rolls left, looking long. Mike Loco's out there. The pass hangs up, and it's batted down. Knocked away by Tony Dandridge, number 17. Mike Loco had the secondary beat. If that pass is on target, it's a touchdown. But the pass held up and allowed Dandridge a chance to knock it away. It'll bring up 4th and 3 Huskies at the Wolves 35.
Slight breeze that he's throwing into. When the ball doesn't go that high, it might stall it out a little bit. But Mike Loco did have people deep in the end zone. The other problem is if you lead him too far, you lead him right on out of the end zone. So the ball gets high and stalls up there a little bit, and the corner does get back and makes a nice play to knock it away.
So Bloomsburg will go for it on a 4th down and 3. Ron Loco being treated for some sort of injury on the sideline, so he's not in there on that 4th down and 3 call. From the I formation, they give it to Eddie Crothers, tries the right side, looking for the 1st down yardage. He's stacked up, but he's close to the 1st down. Taylor Harris, the strong safety, was there, but a strong effort by Crothers trying to pick up the 1st down. A lot will depend on the spot.
It will. The officials are right around it. They're marking 1st down without a measurement, Jim.
The ball at the 31-yard line, so Crothers, the junior from Carlisle High School, picks up 4 and a 4th down and 3 call. It's a 1st and 10 for Bloomsburg.
Strong run, again, off the right side behind Adam Rice, Casey Nida, and basically a power play, no deception at all. They're going to lunge into the blocks, try to push the defenders back, and hope that hard running of Ed Carruthers can get it, and he does get to the chains.
Randy Davidson wide left, Mike Loco wide right. The call goes to Crothers off the left side, has some running room inside the 25-yard line down to the 23. So good 1st down effort. Taylor Harris, the strong safety. Frank McDermott, the middle linebacker, combined on the stop for Cheyney. But 8 yards on the carry by Crothers. A couple of Wolves shaken up on the play, so we'll have an injury timeout here. Injured player is up and around. It's Cliff Kashura, the linebacker, and he walks off slowly. So it'll be a 2nd down and 2 for Bloomsburg near the Cheyney 23-yard line. And Kevin Visluski has come on to do the quarterbacking for the Huskies. So Eric Miller, who had a pretty good day, will sit down, and Visluski will take over. Jeremiah Schumann ahead of Eddie Crothers in the I formation. 2nd down and 2 call. Visluski gives the ball to Schumann. Schumann straight ahead is wrestled down by Frank McDermott from his middle linebacker position, but not before he picks up a 1st down. McDermott, probably the best of the Wolves defenders, 6'1", 240-pound senior from Boothwyn, the 2nd team all-conference pick a year ago, leading tackler last year, leading tackler this season. 1st and 10, Bloomsburg at the Cheyney 19-yard line. Randy Davidson wide to the right. Wisniewski will roll that way, looks to throw. Nothing there. He's going to run with the football and gets out of bounds at around the 17-yard line. So Wisniewski not able to find an open receiver, kept the football, picked up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Huskies.
Nice job in the backfield. Schumann coming over from fullback after a series of nice plays and gets the initial cut block. Also, Carruthers coming up and keeping that defensive end from making any type of play. It allows Wisniewski to get the corner and run with it.
Mike Loco is wide to the right side. Randy Davidson wide left. Carruthers gets the call off the left side. Schumann blocking, and Carruthers inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Well, Jeremiah Schumann taking lessons from John Johnson as the freshman fullback was out there leading the way for Eddie Carruthers. Did a good job that time, and Bloomsburg will have a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, very aggressive physical fullback. I watched him on a series of runs, and he makes a lot of contact, a lot of bumping in there, leading plays, getting into the linebackers.
Manny Henry among the subs in for Bloomsburg on the offensive front, playing at the left guard position. I formation from the 9-yard line. Give us to Carruthers. Carruthers inside the 5-yard line down to around the 4-yard line. So Eddie Carruthers getting the bulk of the carrying with the Huskies in that big lead, and Irv Sigler probably done for the day. James Long in that last tackle for Cheyney.
Carruthers running well, 44 yards now on 6 carries. And the line, even though we're seeing an awful lot of substitutes, is still firing out very strong, very aggressively. Getting into this defense of the Cheyney Wolves, which seems to be fatiguing some.
They marked the ball at the 6, so 2nd and goal from there. Mike Loco on a wing to the left side. The give is to Carruthers with Schumann out in front. Carruthers carries the tackler down to about the 1-yard line. So Eddie Carruthers with a good effort. 3rd down and goal for Bloomsburg at the 1. Tony Dandridge makes the stop for Cheyney.
Power football, not really showing any deception, no type of faking in the backfield. Just let that fullback lead that tailback, and at that point of attack, push everyone back, go hard and physically.
Dave Wickersham, big freshman, is that right tackle for the Huskies. As the give is to Carruthers, straight up the middle, and Eddie Carruthers is into the end zone for Bloomsburg touchdown. With 7:23 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, nothing fancy. Straight power run right ahead. The line did the blocking, and then a strong burst inside. He meets with resistance at the goal line, but forces the ball ahead for the score.
A nice-looking run by the Husky substitutes, and now the 3rd-place kicker of the day is on for Bloomsburg, as it will be James Haynes out of the hold of Mike Loco. Snap is low. Mike Loco gets it down. Haynes kicked, line drives it through. Time on the field. 7:23 to go in the 3rd quarter play with the score. Bloomsburg 54 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Remaining in the 3rd quarter play. Bloomsburg leading Cheyney 54-6. Last score for the Huskies, Eddie Carruthers, a 1-yard touchdown run, capping a 12-play, 58-yard drive. Carruthers had the longest play of the drive, a 16-yard run. James Haynes with the extra point. The Huskies' lead has ballooned to 54-6. We saw a whole new offensive front for the Huskies. They have some big freshmen on that offensive front. We mentioned Manny Henry at guard for Berwick, and this Dave Wickersham is a big, tall offensive lineman. And with the number of seniors on that offensive front, these guys will play prominently in the future for the Huskies.
Wickersham listed at 6'7", 288 pounds.
As the kick by Boop will be fielded by Baltimore at the 8-yard line. On the reverse, he gives to Gilliam, but the Huskies hold their ground, and he is brought down the 16-yard line. That's a big hit by Keith Freeman. Tom Artecki did a good job in that play, kept his lane. When the reverse came, he stayed right where he was, and he was waiting for Gilliam. Didn't make the play, but slowed him down. And so Cheyney will have the football, 1st and 10 at their 17-yard line.
First series of this half was 3 downs and punt for the Cheyney Wolves. They'd like to get more. They opened very poorly. 2 consecutive sacks by the Huskies. The Huskies coming in fired up defensively.
Trent Flick in at a safety position for Bloomsburg, along with Keith Freeman. As the give is to Gilliam, and he's going nowhere. Bloomsburg subs playing very, very strong. as Gilliam is brought down by Jim Lanigan. He's a freshman, 6'4", 240-pounder at a Father Judge High School in Philadelphia.
He got great penetration and tackle for a loss. So they opened the previous series with sacks on the quarterback. They opened this series by hitting the running back in the backfield.
6.5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Overcast right now at Redmond Stadium. Sunshine's going behind the clouds. Still a very pleasant afternoon as right back to throw hits Terrell Johnson, and he is brought down by Lee Strawbridge. 18-yard line. Mentioned there are a lot of very talented players in backup roles for the Huskies, very young players waiting to get their chance. Really haven't had that many opportunities with 3 fairly tight ball games up to this point. So right now they're hitting hard and playing hard. That completion was just a 3 to the 19-yard line. 3rd down and 8 for Cheyney. See Jared Alleman, a sophomore, at one cornerback position for the Huskies. Thomas Towers in there at a linebacker. Here's a 3rd and 8 call. Bloomsburg showing blitz, then they back off. Play action, right back to throw. Cocks the arm, throws long for Johnson, just beyond his reach. Lee Strawbridge was there. Johnson had a step on him. The pass just a little too long, and it'll be 4th and 8 for Cheyney.
Lee Strawbridge played that very well. He had Johnson initially deep, but he's watching and looking at the quarterback, and he saw the quarterback approaching the line of scrimmage with no one in position to make a tackle. There was momentary hesitation as to which way to go with it, and then when the quarterback threw downfield, Johnson had gotten some separation, but great catch-up speed by Strawberry.
Posey from punt formation is going to throw a pass to Huber, and just goes incomplete. Ball pretty well thrown. Huber around the 40-yard line, and it was Lee Strawbridge who was in the area that made it tough for Huber. In fact, Huber wanted pass interference, so Cheyney gambles on the 4th down punting situation, and Bloomsburg will take over at the Wolves' 19-yard line.
Strawbridge is a little bit gassed. He's fatigued. He just ran a sprint with Terrell Johnson, broke up that particular play, had to sprint to the far sideline for the punt coverage, and what he thought was going to be a banging job with the headhunter. It turns into the pass, and he has to get in that position, so he comes off.
1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. Eichert, now the tailback in the I formation. Wisniewski gives the ball to Eichert, tries to sweep the left side, does so at the 15, the 10, flags fly as he gets down about the 7-yard line. Well, there isn't a lot of room for Steve Eichert on this team with Irv Sigler and Eddie Crothers and Brett Kozlowski, who's injured, not in uniform today, but Eichert's a talent in his own right. He's a redshirt freshman out of Jenkintown, and he really had a terrific spring for the Huskies. I saw the spring game. He made some spectacular plays there. He was solid throughout. They really like the talents of this freshman.
He was a standout. He was a player who just was playing at a different level from the rest. But you mentioned with the depth and the experience, people knowing the offense, it's hard to break in. When you see that type of talent, you have other players and former players mentioning one guy, singling him out, he's a guy to watch. Glenn McNamee was telling me, keep an eye on Eichert. He looks very, very good, and he looked great on that run. Holding call brings it back, though.
1st down and 17 for the Huskies at the 26. The call goes to Eichert up the middle to the 20. Straight arms the man, tries to break free, gets down to about the 18-yard line. Nice effort by Eichert. Justin Evans makes the stop for Cheyney. Mentioned some of the size that Bloomsburg has with these freshman linemen. Andy mentioned Dave Wickersham at 6'7", 288 pounds. He's at one tackle. The other tackle, Sean Flusco out of Parkland High School, 6'6", 240 pounds. Those are 2 legit freshman tackles with great size. 2nd down call coming. The call goes to Eichert. Tries the left side, nothing there. Slips through to the 15. Still on his feet to the 12-yard line. Steve Eichert obviously has gone to the Irv Sigler School of Running. Made some moves that Irv would be proud of there. Picks up 6 before Taylor Harris makes the stop.
He did. A little bit of a different style, but he was cutting left, cutting right. A very patient run. Ziegler likes to keep that momentum going forward or going sideways. He likes to move some turf under his feet. That time, some patience patient running, looking left, looking right, and then finding that little lane.
3rd and 3 at the 11. Eichert the call. Schumann out in front. Eichert breaks a tackle and gets down about the 6-yard line. Another flag on the play.
Yeah, downfield into the play, they're going to call a holding against the Huskies, but take nothing away from the talent of the runner. Starting off to the left, sees the seam, and it's a hard plant against the grain, the type where many running backs would fall down. The defense keeps leaning the other way, and eventually you're going to pick up what they call a tripping on an attempted block by a Husky downfield. That type of interference will move the Huskies back again, but Eichert displaying the talent that has brought him the praise of many people in the program.
So there is the walk-off. It'll be out to the 23-yard line. And we'll bring up a 3rd down and 15 for the Huskies at the Cheyney 23.
Might be an opportunity for Veslusky to throw his first pass.
Husky has an I formation behind him, takes the snap, he's back to throw, he fires it long, ball hangs up, Randy Davidson comes back, tries to make a play, cannot. Tony Dandridge on the play for Cheyney, able to knock it down. So Veslusky threw it high for the tall, wide receiver, Randy Davidson, but the ball hung up a bit too much. Dandridge right there. It's going to make up a 4th and 15 Bloomsburg at the Cheyney 23.
Get another passing situation, and these quarterbacks are rather mobile. Ball's on the right hash mark. You might see him rolling to his left and then attacking the line of scrimmage. That often opens some things up as linebackers worry about the quarterback running.
Here's the 4th down call coming. I formation, Kyle Masser wide to the right. Veslusky back to throw, looking in the end zone for Davidson. The ball just knocked away at the last second. That was James Long who knocked it away, and he made a terrific play. Veslusky had that pass on target.
Yeah, and he did it while rolling to the left. He's a right-handed quarterback, so it's a difficult throw. Randy Davidson is a tall receiver working the fade pattern in the end zone. But that defender getting in that position goes up high and is able to knock it away.
So Cheyney takes over 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line with 2 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and Bloomsburg leading it by a score of 54-6. Wolves at their 23-yard line. Joe Costello, the freshman from Mount Carmel, in that linebacker spot for Bloomsburg. His right takes the snap, back to throw, fires long downfield, incomplete. Good work by the Huskies sophomore defensive back Jared Alleman out of Souderton. He was right there with the intended receiver, Jason Andrews. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Cheyney at their 23.
Mentioned Joe Costello in at linebacker. Aside of him is Randy Maximic, great player from Shenandoah Valley. So 2 of the tough whole region recruits playing side by side here in this 3rd quarter.
And Bloomsburg very, very happy with this freshman class. And 2 of the tops in there at the linebacker spots now. Costello taking blitz, then backs off as Paul Wright is back to throw and dumps it out here to Gilliam. Has some running room at the 25. Rutecki brings him down about the 30-yard line. Good tackle in the open field by Tom Rutecki. Now he's a senior, backup linebacker out of Bensalem, and brought down Gilliam in the open field. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 3 for Cheyney at their own 30-yard line.
Run a little bit of option, and it wouldn't be a bad time to run some option now because of the number of people who are seeing some action for the first time in the game. They might not be anticipating the option look.
Bobby McCray, who caught the touchdown pass earlier, one of the wide receivers for the Wolves, as Murray, the fullback, gets the call on a 3rd down and 3. Won't get there. Making the tackle is Brian Sims, freshman from Downingtown, has been in on a number of plays, had a sack earlier. So it'll be 4th down, less than a yard. You'll probably see Cheyney go for it here in the closing moments of this 3rd quarter. No, they're going to switch teams and punt the football away. My logic was that last time they were punting from their own 19 and they faked it. So 4th and less than a yard here, I thought maybe they'd go, but Posey's back to punt. Takes the snap, gets the kick away, very short, very, very high, and will bounce and go out of bounds across the way near the Bloomsburg 40-yard line. The Huskies will take over with 1 minute and 1 second remaining in this 3rd quarter. and Bloomsburg leading by a score of 54-6. If you're just joining us, it was a big afternoon for the Huskies senior tailback Irv Sigler. He came into the ball game leading the nation in rushing, 221 yards a game, and he even improved on those numbers.
He had 199 at halftime, 1 carry in the second half, that being a huge touchdown. Puts him at 257 for the game, and he's been sitting for a while now.
Bloomsburg at their own 39-yard line with a 1st and 10. Wisniewski gives the ball to Crothers with Schumann blocking out in front, and Eddie Crothers over midfield, breaks away, still on his feet, down to the Cheyney 35-yard line. Well, a great surge by that backup offensive front, and then Crothers with great second effort. Tony Dandridge finally made the stop for Cheyney.
I was marking him as a 10-yard gain and heard the crowd had to look up again, and there he is, another 15 yards onto that. 75 yards now on 9 carries.
26 yards on that carry. 1st and 10, Bloomsburg at the Cheyney 35-yard line. Wisniewski under center. Gives the ball to Eddie Crothers again, and Crothers gets inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. The Crothers will pick up about 6 before Taylor Harris, the strong safety, can make the play on what is the final play of the 3rd period. With the score, Bloomsburg 54 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. And a very improved Lock Haven team. We saw that a couple of weeks ago when Bloomsburg struggled in that game at Lock Haven. Right here, Bloomsburg 2nd and 4 at the Cheyney 29-yard line, starting the 4th quarter with a 54-6 lead. Jeremiah Schumann, a fullback, gets the call, and Schumann, with a good effort, picks up the first down to the 23-yard line. 6 yards on the carry before Pierre Campbell can make the stop. Jeremiah Schumann is a freshman from Lower Dauphin High School, 5'9", 190-pounder.
Looked good, very quick hitter, and people are keying through to that tailback, Crothers in this case, rather than Sigler. So when the fullback gets that quick hitter, he often has that good step before people can converge, and he runs with power.
1st and 10 for the Huskies. From the 23-yard line, the give is to Crothers once again, and Crothers inside the 20, still on his feet, gets close to the 15-yard line. So Eddie Crothers putting together a solid effort in his own right in place of Irv Sigler. Che Eubanks, the free safety, makes the stop for the Wolves.
He's at 90 yards now on 11 carries, so he should finish with a 100-yard game, and a couple more carries he should be at that point. Running very hard, very aggressive runner. Not quite as elusive as Irv Sigler, but he has that power at the end where he likes to finish off plays.
2nd and 3, Bloomsburg at the 16-yard line. Wisniewski gives the ball to Schumann. Schumann has running room off the right side. He's inside the 10, and Jeremiah Schumann down to the Cheyney 8-yard line. Picks up a first down. It'll be 1st and goal. Huskies at that point. Taylor Harris, the strong safety, who's been in on a lot of plays for the Wolves this afternoon, makes that stop. So 1st and goal for Bloomsburg at the 8-yard line.
Nice blocking right at the point of attack, and then the fullback takes it laterally. He's able to find another lane out there and able to move the chains. Well, 1st and goal coming up from about the 9-yard line.
Again, the I formation. The call goes to Eddie Crothers, trying to sweep the left side, cuts it in, and gets into the end zone for the touchdown. Eddie Crothers in from the 8-yard line for the score.
99 yards on the game now with that 9-yard touchdown burst. Randy Davidson at wide receiver had the last man, and he was chicken fighting him just enough to be able to get the interference that Crothers needed for the score.
So Bloomsburg puts together a 61-yard scoring drive. Chris Connolly, who is 1 for 1 in extra point attempts this afternoon, will attempt this one. Out of the hold of Mike Loco. The snap is there, the placement, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Time out on the field, 13 minutes to go in the football game with the score, Bloomsburg 61 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Right here, we have 13 minutes to go in this one. Bloomsburg rolling over Cheyney to the tune of 61-6. The latest score, an 8-yard touchdown run by junior Eddie Crothers, capping a 6-play, 61-yard scoring drive. Crothers had the biggest gain of the drive, a 26-yard run.
Notice the cheerleading contingent no longer does push-ups for every point, Jim.
Well, that's good for today, at least. As Tom Boop will kick off for the Huskies with the wind at his back. He once again booms one 5 yards deep out of the end zone. And the Wolves will put in play at their own 20-yard line.
Fans are enjoying this one, though. Nice crowd here. They were swarmed about the fence. Many have left because the game has been decided long ago, but many in this Parents' Day crowd are watching players they didn't think they'd see in this game. Some sons in there playing that are a little bit deeper down on the depth chart, seeing some considerable action.
I think Bloomsburg has to like the way that offensive line, the second offensive line, has reacted in this second half. Last two drives, conservative on the ground, and yet some terrific blocking leading the way for Eddie Crothers.
Certainly. Very, very strong.
1st and 10 for the Wolves. Amir Hayes now is the quarterback for Cheyney. I formation behind him. Vincent Brown is the fullback. A fake to him. Hayes will keep the football on the option and is hit. Fumbles the football. Scramble is on at the 32-yard line. And it appears that Bloomsburg got the ball. So Hayes was stripped of the football, and Bloomsburg comes up with the football.
Yeah, he actually went to pitch it very late. Jim, he was running option, had about 3 yards, and then went very, very late with the pitch. It was lying out there, and eventually Dwayne Davis comes up with the ball.
Joe Costello right there as well, and Bloomsburg takes over 1st and 10 at the Cheyney 32-yard line.
Thought option would have been good on the 3rd and short situation. Here they start this series with it, but he results in another turnover.
Lusky is the quarterback from the 32-yard line. I formation behind him. And Kevin Wisniewski fumbles the snap, able to get on back at the 35-yard line, bring up a 2nd down and 13 for Bloomsburg. Huskies also have Scott Rocco, a freshman in there, number 45, 6'1", 180-pounder. So it's a day when everybody gets their opportunity.
Also, Todd Wisniewski, not the quarterback, but the wide receiver Wisniewski out there in this series.
And Rich Hahn out of Danville is in the lineup as well, but Eichert gets the call, tries to get it outside. Dandridge got a hand on him, and then he's gang tackled about the 29-yard line. But Eichert picks up about 6 on the play, bring up a 3rd down and 7 for Bloomsburg.
Strong run, made up some from the drop snap. It's nice effort on there, refusing to go down even when tacklers have him stopped.
Clock running with 11 minutes to go in the football game. Bloomsburg at the Cheyney 30-yard line. 3rd down and closer to 8 for the Huskies. I formation. Todd Wisniewski is wide to the right side. Steve Eichert gets the call, has some blocking, hurdles the tackler, gets down about the 21-yard line. That was a good effort. He has quicks.
Very, very quick. He saw immediately that the hole right there was stopped. There was a man in it. So just a very quick sidestep of about a yard and turns it up without breaking stride at all. Very quick movement, quick feet, keeps them moving. A lot of north-south running on his part, and he gets to the chains.
9 yards on the carry. They needed 8. 1st and 10 for Bloomsburg at the Cheyney 21-yard line. Eric Verno, they back up center over the football. Kevin Wisniewski gives to Eichert the tailback with Schumann out in front, and good effort off that left side. He gets all the way down to the 10-yard line for another Bloomsburg 1st down. Pierre Campbell makes the stop for the Wolves.
Again, a lot of strength in the offensive front, creating the seam. The running backs doing their part. Of course, Cheyney defense somewhat demoralized, hoping for a better performance in this afternoon. But outmanned by the Huskies, they're hanging a little bit demoralized.
The ball close to the 9-yard line. 1st and goal for Bloomsburg. Wisniewski calling signals from there, gives to Eichert, tries the left side, then cuts it inside the 5, down close to the 1-yard line. Another strong effort by Steve Eichert, be second down and goal as James Long makes the stop for the Wolves.
Very, very tough runner, very determined runner. Finds the seam, chooses the right hole, gets going north and south for positive yardage, and hard to bring down. Does not want to go down. Will not go down with the arm tackle.
Todd Wisniewski splits wide to the right side. Kevin Wisniewski, the quarterback, brings his team to the line of scrimmage, the 2-yard line. Schumann is the fullback, but it's a fake to Eichert. Kevin Wisniewski rolling right, wants to throw the football. He can't, so he runs with it and has spelled it out of bounds about the 1-yard line. Kevin Wisniewski with a good ball fake, but then no one to throw to. Glenn Irby knocked him out about the 1, so it'll be third down and goal.
Defensive end Darren Daniels had him lined up as well. After the fake, defensive end did not bite with it. But Wisniewski, a little bit too quick, is able to elude that man and then turns the corner. Looks like he might get to the end zone, but stopped just short.
Third down and goal, Bloomsburg after Cheyney 1. Eichert, the tailback in the I formation. He gets the call, tries the left side, and gets into the end zone for Bloomsburg. Touchdown. Steve Eichert in for the score.
47 yards on the game now for the third tailback, Steve Eichert. Strong blocking off the left side, an easy seam, and he goes in standing up. And again, the crowd going through the cheers and the paces. Lead at 67-6 now for the Huskies.
Bloomsburg has had 3 different people kick extra points this afternoon. James Haynes will try this one. He hit one earlier. And Cheyney's number 13, James Long, anticipated the snap, jumped over the center's head before the ball was snapped, then tried to jump back over the center's head into the secondary, and while he was jumping back, the snap came and hit him. First time I've ever seen that.
He had it. He wanted to come in. He hurdled the man. You're not really allowed to do that, but it normally wouldn't be seen if the snap was there. He's playing very, very aggressively. He has the only interceptions for his team, 2 on the year, and he wants to block this kick to prevent it from getting to 68-6. So he goes over the center. He realizes he's offside, but he hasn't touched anybody, so he tries to straddle him and get over him again before the flag comes.
Unfortunately, the ball was snapped in the meantime and hit him on the way back. So Bloomsburg with a half the distance. Let's see what Long does this time. He's about 5 yards deep in the end zone.
He's playing pass coverage now.
James Haynes will try it again. Snap, placement, kick is up, and the kick is good. Time out of the field, 8:41 to go in the football game with the score. Bloomsburg 68 and Cheyney 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Right here, Bloomsburg with 68 points on the board, leading Cheyney 68-6. Still 8:41 to go in this one. Latest score, a 2-yard touchdown run by redshirt freshman Steve Eichert, capping a 7-play, 32-yard drive. James Haynes with the extra point. And the Huskies with that huge lead. Tom Booth, with the wind at his back, has reached the end zone many times today and does it again. This one 5 yards deep, but Baltimore will run it out to the 5, to the 10, and brought down about the 15-yard line. Trent Flick down to make the tackle on the kick team for the Huskies.
Not deep enough, Jim. They want him out of that end zone, not just 5 yards deep. You know, but actually, by getting the ball high, they'd like not always to go into the end zone where it can't be returned, but make them return the high one that's near the goal line. And if your coverage is good, you pin them inside the 20. So even though this kick didn't go as far, it's a better net situation. The offense has to start on the 15 rather than what the touchback would have given them on the 20-yard line.
First and 10 for the Wolves of Cheyney at their own 15-yard line. Vincent Brown is the tailback in the eye. Amir Hayes fires to the tailback, goes incomplete. Kevin Waters, a sophomore out of Susquehanna High School in Harrisburg, was the intended receiver, went through his hands. So it'll be second down and 10, Cheyney at their 15.
They're going to make it second and 14, Jim. The ball was passed backwards, so it's ruled as a lateral, went through his hands and then out of bounds. So the official on the play whistles it that way. They'll call it a 4-yard loss in the running department.
So it'll be second down and 14 back at the 11-yard line. 7:54 to go in the football game as Amir Hayes is the quarterback for the Wolves. Sets him down at the 11. Gives the ball to that tailback, and Brian Sims wraps up Kevin Waters. Hey, Sims is a force at that tackle position.
He's a standout. 255 pounds, but seems to play bigger than that. Maybe he's grown since his schedule was written. He's coming out for a little bit of a break, but he has been very, very visible throughout this second half.
3rd down and 15 for Cheyney. Bloomsburg, those subs in there. Joe Costello had a linebacker spotted at Mount Carmel, and Trent Flick, former Central Columbia standout, playing one of the safety positions. 3rd and 15. Amir Hayes back to his 1-yard line to throw. Lofts the pass over the middle. The ball is tipped. Trent Flick got his hand on it, almost picked it off. He had an interception earlier. Almost got another one there.
He was in position, but very difficult. He's breaking to the man to sort of put the hit on him and put the tackle on him. Then as it's knocked away, he has to try to regroup, change his position in midair, and almost does tap it back to himself. Another regional player in there, Joe Bob Husky, seeing a lot of action defensively in the second half out of Southern Columbia High School.
Lawrence Posey, 7 yards deep in his own end zone. Bad snap, and the ball barely got off. However, we're going to have a roughing the kicker call against the Huskies. Joe Costello got in there and ran into the kicker after Posey got it off. It was the bad snap that actually caused that.
You would think a punter would have a bit more propriety toward a fellow punter. He did help him up. Normally, a punter, when there is a bad snap or is forced to kind of leave the pocket, is given less protection. But,
I'm just wondering if Costello didn't get a hand on it. If he got a hand on it, then it would not be roughing the kicker. That's what some of the Bloomsburg coaches indicated in the officiating crew, but evidently it was just a bad kick, and it was not a deflection, so the penalty will go against Bloomsburg.
Yeah, one of those we almost want him to get that kick off and let the offense move the ball a little bit. The bad snap, there's been some high snaps throughout this game. Does end up working to their advantage by forcing a roughing call.
1st and 10, Cheyney at their own 25-yard line. Amir Hayes is the quarterback. He's going to option to the left side, pitches to Andre Baltimore, and he is brought down by Lee Strawbridge for a loss in the play. Terrific play by the junior, Strawbridge.
Strawbridge himself, I believe, ran some option as a quarterback in high school, so now on the secondary, he's able to read it very quickly. His responsibility is that pitch man, so when he sees the quarterback coming down the line, he lights up, heads toward the line of scrimmage, plays it aggressively, and catches Andre Baltimore in the backfield.
Lee Strawbridge has played some quarterback here at Bloomsburg University. In fact, was once forced into a starting position because of injuries a couple of years ago at Shippensburg. On the 23-yard line, they'll option to this the near side. Amir Hayes will keep the football, and Joe Costello wraps him up at about the 27-yard line. Well, we talked earlier about this Bloomsburg freshman class and some of the standouts. Boy, with Randy Maximic of Shenandoah Valley High School and Joe Costello, the All-Stater from Mount Carmel. And I mentioned another one that they're very high on out of Downingtown, Fran Greger, who we haven't seen yet on that defensive unit, but we have seen on special teams. Really have some solid candidates at that linebacker position. Cheyney with a 3rd down and about 7. And Amir Hayes will give straight ahead as flags fly. It's the fullback Vincent Brown, and he gets nowhere. Maybe lost a yard, but we'll check the flag.
Husky's right defensive end jumps the gun, got caught in the neutral zone on the snap. So even though the play gets knocked back for a loss, we'll probably see a 5-yard penalty against the Huskies. That would set up, I believe, a 3rd and about 3.
So Cheyney will have another opportunity. Again, Bloomsburg on the road next Saturday afternoon at Mansfield. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll be on the air starting with the Husky Countdown Show at 12:30. Hope you'll join us for that one. Mansfield on the road themselves tonight, playing at Millersville in a 7 o'clock kickoff. The ball at the 33-yard line, 3rd down and 2.
Mansfield features a Cole Region local, Jason Donati, one of the premier running backs in the PSAC.
He's had a terrific career at Mansfield as Hayes tries the quarterback keeper on 3rd and 2. He will not get the 1st down. That Bloomsburg defensive front right there. And it was Dwayne Davis, number 97, who did not give ground at all. Davis, a freshman out of Reading.
Tough to go up the middle with this guy. Doesn't seem to quite have the same push. Very quick. He runs the option well. I've been impressed with the way he's running the options, but it doesn't seem like the rest of the team is sort of option-oriented. He has nice movement, nice quicks, but they're on the quarterback sneak, nothing at all.
4th down and 2 for Cheyney. They will go for it, and Hayes is going to throw for it. He rolls left. Now he's going to run, and he has the first down over the 40. Strawbridge runs him out across the way. And he mentioned the quicks of Amir Hayes and running the option. He showed it there. He's a sophomore out of Brooklyn, New York, 6'2", 190-pounder. And he got the first down as he got up to the 46-yard line, picked up 12 on the carry with a 1st and 10.
Hey, it looks like he'd be very comfortable in a mobile passing game, not just setting up in the pocket, but rolling and throwing with the option to run, similar to what we had seen out of Lock Haven last week. That type of system a bit more suited to his talent, so they like to roll him. There he did roll and run for the first down.
3:05 to go in this football game. Cheyney at their own 46-yard line with a 1st and 10. Amir Hayes fires the quick out. The ball is tipped and incomplete. Ronald Lawrence, the freshman wide receiver out of Florida, Tampa to be exact, had his hands on it, couldn't hold on. So he's 2nd down and 10 at the 46. A reminder, immediately following our broadcast today from Redmond Stadium, stay tuned for the Scoreboard Show. Dave Bell will bring you updated on all the college football results from across the nation, starting with the PSAC and the top 25 and everything in between. Stay tuned for that immediately following our wrap-up here from Redmond Stadium. 2:55 to go in the game. Cheyney 2nd down and 10 at their own 46-yard line. Slot to the right side, I formation. Hayes takes the snap, gives on a delay to the fullback, Vincent Brown. He's hit hard by Joe Costello and company as he gets a couple on the play. So Vincent Brown got the carry. He's out of San Antonio, Texas. Freshman, 5'9", 185-pounder. And he got near midfield. It's going to be 3rd down and 6 for Cheyney.
Costello did come up. A little bit of a delay action there, and the line ran past the play. So the linebacker who took a step or two thinking it was pass came up and met him. Very, very hard hit.
3rd down and 6 for the Wolves. Just short of midfield in their territory. Fake tight end Dorian West to the right side. Hayes is back to throw, rolling left, fires to the sideline, going high, trying to make the catch. Made it, but out of bounds, Bobby McCray. So it'll go as an incompletion. And it's 4th down and 6, Cheyney from midfield.
4th and 6 midfield. They'll probably take it with a play from scrimmage. Of course, they're a bit unpredictable. They've done fake punts. They're going to the huddle.
I mentioned the Huskies on the road next week. Cheyney will be at home against the Golden Bears of Kutztown. Kutztown playing good defense this season, but having problems scoring points. As Cheyney with the 4th down and 6.
Points can come in 1 week. Huskies have had trouble scoring points, and all of a sudden we see 68 on this scoreboard.
Trips to the left side. Hayes is back to throw. Fires. The ball is tipped and then caught by one of the Bulls inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Bloomsburg got their hands on the football. Then Terrell Johnson was able to pull it down. Check that. It's not Johnson. The pass was completed as Teron Davenport out of William Penn High School in York, able to get it for a 20-yard pickup and a 1st down.
It was tipped by Randy Maximic, who dropped very deep. It took a long time for the pass to get off, so his drop zone as a linebacker just kept going deeper. He went as high as he could and tipped it, but then it tips. He still is caught by the man well behind him.
From the 30-yard line of Bloomsburg, the call straight ahead and nothing doing. Tom Ratecki is in there for the Huskies, all over the ball carrier, Jermaine Kenner, a freshman out of Anacostia High School in Washington, D.C. So it will be a 2nd down for Cheyney, 2nd and 11 at the Bloomsburg 21-yard line. See if the Wolves go deep, try to get on that board one more time as we wind down under a minute to go in the football game. Cheyney Comes to the line of scrimmage, a slot to the right side. An I formation. Hayes takes the snap. He's back to throw. He's looking over the middle to Davenport, and it's incomplete. Pass sails high. Back there on the coverage for Bloomsburg, John Smith, the sophomore. Clock will stop with 37 seconds to go in the football game. They'll bring up a 3rd down and 11 at the 31.
Smith was deep in the end zone as a safety, and he came breaking up when he saw the quarterback's foot come forward. He wanted to make the hit on the man. The ball sailed high, and while he was able to make the hit on the man, I think he felt if he played it a little bit softer, he might have been in position for an interception.
3rd down and 11 call. Slot to the right side, I formation. Hayes takes the snap, drops back to throw. Big pass rush, gets the pass off, completed to Waters, and he keeps his feet and gets inside the 30 down to about the 29-yard line. The pass is completed to Kevin Waters. Jared Alleman in on the stop for the Huskies. If the Wolves hurry to the line of scrimmage, one more play in this football game as the clock winding down, under 10 seconds remaining, and I don't believe that they are going to run another play, and they call a timeout.
Yes, they do.
With 3 seconds to go, and the score is 68-6. Cheyney,
you never know.
likes it so much here at Redmond Stadium that they want to hang around for a while.
It's like our spotter's not hanging around. Jim, you know, he saw a tremendous rushing performance here. He was talking to me at halftime how impressed he is with Irv Ziegler. But he, of course, in high school does some blocking for another impressive runner who topped Irv Ziegler's numbers. Rico Rosini of Southern Columbia, who Mike Feddock blocked for well over 300 yards yesterday. So, a lot of yardage in the purview of our spotter, Mike Feddock.
Yep, we've seen some great rushing performances during the course of this season. We won't see a rush here, I wouldn't think. We'll see a pass toward the end zone with 3 seconds to go as Cheyney takes advantage of that timeout to go to the sideline. They were not in any hurry at all to get that play. They were just lounging around, and suddenly one of the linemen had an urge to call a timeout, and he did.
Yeah, tackle eligible.
So from the 31-yard line, Hayes gives the ball to Waters to the 25, and Waters gets down to the 17-yard line. So after that timeout, they run the ball on the final play of this football game. The final score, Bloomsburg University 68, Cheyney University 6. We'll be back with the scoring and statistics in 60 seconds. Bloomsburg scored early. And Cheyney's first play from scrimmage, a fumble, and a Jay Zoransky recovery at the 18. Couple of plays later, Irv Ziegler started a big day for him with a 9-yard touchdown.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!